How are we, people? Thank you for joining me on this card. We are the Fair One podcast, formerly known as Grange TV. We still have the Grange TV sign. We still have some stuff up there because, we're transitioning into a new name. Looking forward to there's a few fights on this card that I'm actually really looking forward to. I'm always a fan of watching Matt Brown versus Dhiego Lima. I like Matt Brown as an old school guy. I like that. I don't know how much he still has left in the tank, so to speak, but I'm interested to see. And he's always brings it, and he always has hard fights. So I'm interested in seeing that. Dhiego Lima, always big fan of the Lima brothers. Um, it's interesting because both Lima brothers kind of tend to drift towards the cage. Um, Douglas did a better job in Bellator than usual. Like they kind of go up against the cage and then throw their leg kicks and their combinations from there. And Matt Brown likes to come forward and he grinds, he attacks, that's how he fights. So it's going to be an interesting contrast there between the two of them. And that I'm interested in that fight. Big fan of Marlon Vera. I love watching him fight. So this fight with Davey Grant will be an interesting one. Alexey Oleinik, we had him on the podcast. Huge fan of Alexey. I like watching him fight. So we'll see how Sergey goes against Alexey. Interested in seeing Choi fight. I think that he's had a few good fights. He had a couple of losses in the UFC against some pretty tough guys. So, but then he hits relatively hard at that weight. I'm interested in watching that fight. And obviously Zombie versus IGE. I'm very, very interested in that. I think IGE is coming off a big win, obviously, against Tucker. And I think IGE is really good off his back. He's got like, if you look at all his skills, like individually, they're really, really good. I think sometimes he kind of strikes with people I expect him to wrestle with. He wrestles with people I expect him to strike with. He's very good off his back, and sometimes he tends to stay there a little longer than he needs to. Not criticisms, observations. I'm a huge fan of his. I actually met him. He's a nice guy, that guy, the IGE guy. And then you got Zombie. Everyone knows who Zombie is and how he fights. I just think with Zombie, the biggest thing for me, in my opinion, is at some point there has to be a use by date on the damage that he has taken. That's what I think. There has to be a point where you can't just keep taking those shots away that he has. That's just my opinion on it. And I don't know if today will be the day. IGE hits hard as well, so I don't know. There is a use by date though in the way that he fights. Having said all of that, it's interesting because Zombie's very good on the ground. IGE is very good off his back. Interesting to see who's going to try and take this one to the ground first, if at all. IGE's got some tidy stand up, but I think that Zombie will back himself, and he kind of clips you at the end of his punches with the way he throws his punches. So that's interesting, man. I'm interested in that fight as well. I don't know what that does in that division, in the featherweight division, where that puts him, but I'm interested in watching this fight for sure. The Dark Lord says, "What's up?" And what's up, Dark Lord? The Dark Lord says, "Do you think the sport evolved beyond Matt Brown, or did he just get slower? Is his technique outdated?" I'd say almost no to all of the above. It's just that Matt Brown is now 40, and 40, man, you're fighting still at 40. It's not for 40-year-olds. You know what I mean? In general, you might have some outliers, but no, he's a very, very skilled fighter. He's got very good stand up, got very good grappling. I don't think that his technique is outdated or the sport evolved beyond him. I just think that age gets you, man. You're not 40 years old is not 25 anymore, and people age real quick. Especially when you're in in a sport where you're taking the kind of damage that you are in, like you are in MMA. It's no joke. He's coming off two losses, Miguel Beza and Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit is also kind of like on the way back, so to speak. Then he had beat Ben Saunders and Dhiego Sanchez, and then but before that he'd lost 3 in a row to Damian Maia, Jake Ellenberger, Donald Cerrone. Beat Tim Means before that. Then he has 2 losses to Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler, and before that he had like 6 fights in a row, 5-6 fights in a row that he'd won it. But like he's not 25 anymore. He's not 28. He's not 32. He's 40-year-old man now, so it's not that easy. Coach Joseph says, Coach, what's happening, kind sir? How was your week? My week's been good, my friend. My week has been really good. How are you guys been? Yesterday I was moving a fridge with my brother-in-law, and my sister was helping. Well, not really helping, but she was there directing, but she thought she was helping. And my wife was there. And when we moved the fridge back, the fridge fell on me. This big, massive fridge that my brother-in-law and my sister are getting. Huge fridge too, by the way, probably 150-kilo fridge. And it fell on me. And as it fell, like the way that it fell kind of like looped under this step that we were trying to bring it. And I was fucking holding it up, just holding it up by sheer grace. And I said, and I couldn't get out from there because if I moved, the fridge would fall. So I'm just holding it. And I said to my wife, put something under the put something underneath the fridge so you can prop it up so that I can scoot out of it. And I was going to do a patented hip escape to get out of there. And so I needed something that would be, at least 30 centimeters, like a foot for US people, something like a foot so that I could get out. And my wife comes along with this tiny, thin cardboard box. It just puts it underneath there, she just puts it underneath there. I'm like, dude, you need to prop up the fridge, man. I can't hold this up forever. So eventually they put a stool underneath and I got out. Otherwise, I would have been doing the podcast from underneath the fridge. Christian Lorenz says, happy weekend, Fab. If Zombie wins tonight, should he face Qatar next? Be an interesting fight. Be an interesting fight. I'm going to go with yes. Let's go with yes. Randy says, what's up, Fab? Good to see you. Good to see you, Randy. Joseph says, the top control of the fridge was Khabib-like. It was like if I didn't start hip escaping when I did, I put my shields up. So I didn't allow the fridge to set its weight on me. This is a very important lesson. So I had my shields up, kind of in a modified half guard or Z guard. And then once I was able to do that, I was able to start to find some space and get out of there. What's your prediction, mate? I've got IGE. Man, I can't give a prediction on it, honestly. Because I don't know. Both these guys are kind of a bit of an enigma to me. IGE, in the sense of, like I said, I think sometimes he wrestles when I think, I'm not saying I'm right, because he's a fantastic fighter. But sometimes he wrestles when I think he's going to, put it this way. Sometimes he wrestles when I think he's going to strike, and sometimes he strikes when I think he's going to wrestle someone. And so sometimes I'm not entirely convinced with the fight plans, or the tactics employed at the time. Not that he's not a good game planner. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes it looks like what I said. Like I think he's going to wrestle, and then I think he's going to do this, and he doesn't do that, but he still finds a way to win. So it's a little bit of an enigma like that for me. So I can't really make a prediction on what he's going to do or what I think he's going to do. And Zombie, I think I think in the Ortega fight, it wasn't like good for Ortega, but he caught Zombie with that elbow, and I don't think we saw, like, Zombie just survived out of pure toughness. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly how much Brian has really outboxed him versus he hurt him. Credit to Brian though, for complete credit to Brian, but more so he hurt him, and then we didn't see Zombie execute like he normally would. So, and also I don't know how much Zombie has left. Like if today's going to be the day that his body just says, look, man, we've had too many wars, mate. Thank you. So I don't know. It's a bit of an enigma there between the two of them. Uh, okay. Dark Lord says, you said something about the damage TKZ took catching up to him, but no, I've noticed that he's changed his game a lot. He doesn't really get into crazy firefights anymore. No, that's true, but that doesn't change the damage that you already have. You get what I mean? Like, it doesn't change that. Like, I mean, you've still copped that damage. It's great that you're not making it worse, but you still copped that damage early on. Joel Forbes gives a thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Brad Galea says, "G'day, Fab. I'm going to try and smoke venison brisket today for the first time. Any tips?" I'm going to smoke some duck today. Later on. I don't know. Don't have the temperature too high for the brisket, but I think you know all this stuff. Don't have the temperature too high. Be patient. Let it cook for a long time, and you got to keep it moist. Keep the whole brisket moist the whole time that you're cooking it. Ewan Ferguson says, "Good to be here on a day off. Hope all is well, Fab." Yes, sir. It is, sir. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I want to thank you guys all for being here. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Andre says, "Fab, I cannot believe Rob put a clinic on Gaston like that with a fractured hand." I can, my friend. He's fought before with broken hands. And no disrespect to Gaslam, it's just a fight that I don't think Gastelum matches up well with Rob. I think it's a bad matchup for Gastelum every time. I've I called that kind of before the fight. Just just the way they match up. Rob's like a bigger, faster version of Gastelum with more vocabulary to his strikes. If they were to have a wrestling match, like a wrestling Olympic freestyle wrestling match or a submission grappling match, it'd probably be even at best. I'd kind of lean towards Rob. But with strikes, wrestling with strikes, Rob's too fast with his ability to blitz and whatnot. And Gastelum hasn't got the vocabulary of strikes or the reach to keep Rob off him. And then when he has to step into Rob's space, he goes hunting, looking for Rob. Rob's going to counter strike him, So it's one of those rare moments where Rob enjoys a significant, like, kind of reach advantage in that against someone, both with legs, with feet, with the whole thing. Gastelum looks like he has much longer reach than he does because he's very, very broad, and they measure wingspan, right? But his reach is actually even shorter than you'd think it would be. So I don't really see, outside of him catching Rob, how he was going to beat Rob. I think it's a tough fight for Gastelum. It's a tough out. It doesn't mean that he can't beat guys that Rob might lose to one day. You know what I mean? Right now, I don't see anyone beating Rob outside of the closest person I think is going to be out of Israel. And I say this with honestly, I'm saying this completely objective. It's out of Israel and Rob. I think in that division, clear, far and away, the two of them. Right now, I think that they're at their peak, and either one of them can beat each other on any given day. I lean towards Rob in the rematch, to be honest with you. We're off, people. Matt Brown and Lima touch gloves. They come out. Matt Brown looking quite aggressive as he's coming forward, and he doesn't have to do a lot. It's a small cage, and he doesn't have to do a lot to kind of walk Lima into the peripheries of the octagon, which is unfortunately always been a problem for the Lima brothers. But Lima's going to go looking for those low kicks for sure. Lima's creeping forward on Matt Brown. Lima's showing a bunch of different kind of stances, going from orthodox to southpaw, even to a square kind of stance. Not standing still for Matt Brown. Matt Brown in his orthodox stance. Lima goes looking for a body kick with his from a southpaw stance, and Matt Brown caught it. Both guys kind of exchanging body kicks and that. F Smoke says the Fridge versus Logan Paul. Who wins? in an MMA match like that, man, I don't know. The fridge that fridge had really, really good top control. It was all I could do to get out from it. I couldn't catch it in anything, couldn't get any submissions, couldn't anything. But it didn't finish me. But thing, Matt Brown with a beautiful body kick. He's putting some money in the bank. Is Matt Brown, because he is looking for that left kick to the body. Nice leg kick by Lima. Wrapped that right around the calf, did Lima. So as he moves around the periphery, this is the thing. He throws a nice calf kick, does Lima. Both Lima brothers do. But to throw that calf kick a lot of times effectively, you got to kind of scoot out to the side. And what he does to create that angle, he steps back and goes to the side, but that kind of puts him up against the cage as well. Nice calf kick. That second one landed really, really flush. Matt Brown felt that calf kick. So he tries to scoot out to the periphery, like back into the periphery. Matt Brown answers with a big kick of his own. And so that kind of pushes him up against the cage. The thing with Matt Brown, though, here is that Matt Brown can kick with a kicker, which is very, very important when faced with a kicker. He cannot capitulate all that space to the kicker. Matt Brown's being aggressive. Lima's doing a good job of now, he's controlling the center of the octagon, and he's looking for that calf kick again. He's pouring with a jab, feinting with the right hand. There's the calf kick again. He landed. See, that one didn't look like it landed real bad, but it landed really close to the back of the knee, which is where the popliteal muscle is and the peroneal nerve is. And that kills, man. That's the one that just makes your leg go rubbery. 2 minutes to go in this first round. Lima looking to cut that angle. So he goes side to side. He's looking for that angle, but that at the same time is kind of pushing him back towards the periphery of the cage. And Bilal Muhammad asks where the calf kick is. He's thrown the calf kick a few times. But Matt Brown also looks like he's a little bit more adept at dealing with the calf kick, in the sense that he's just kind of coming forward a little bit more on him, and he's kind of checked it once or twice. Looks for the double leg, does Lima. Matt Brown has nothing, says nope, this is not happening, so defends that double leg takedown. Matt Brown continuing to come forward, but he's got a welt right on his calf, and there it is again from Lima. Nice work. Matt Brown is looking for it, but that one hit the thigh. Matt Brown is looking for a calf kick of his own. Lima slides out of the way. Matt Brown slides out of a calf kick of Lima's. Doubles up on the jab, does Lima, as Matt Brown's pressuring him up against the cage. Lima goes looking for a big overhand right. Doesn't get it. Lima continuing to change angles and move and skip side to side. But ultimately, what he's looking for with those angle changes is the angle for the calf kick. Lima drops for a single leg, then goes looking for a left hook, none of which land. Matt Brown with a spinning back kick, then goes looking for a left hook of his own. None of these are landing flush except for this calf kick that landed. It wasn't actually a calf kick, kind of landed on the back of the knee by Lima. 3 seconds to go in this first round. I am only watching. I'm commentating. I am not judging the fight, but I kind of lean towards Lima in that round. But it's a very close one. I wouldn't want to be a judge. Ahmed says, "Yellow, salam alaikum. I hope you're having a great day and enjoying yourself with great vibes only." Yes, sir. I have to say that I am, and right back at you, sir. Alaikum salam. Have I traveled to Korea? Says Christian Laurent. I have not. I've been to Japan many, many times. I was planning on a trip to Korea and Europe and a whole bunch of stuff at the start of COVID, and obviously everyone knows what happened. Joseph says, Coach, what kind of smoker you got? Offset or pellet? I don't even know what that means. I just have a little wood-fired smoker. Max Burner says, why are white people in their countries attacked racially, but everyone else can be proud of their people? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't even know where that came from, Max. Uthman Ali says, cannot wait for Rob versus Izzy 2 as high level as it gets. Absolutely. It's going to be a great fight. Warrior MMA says, how's it going, Fab, my man? Heard you surf. I surf very, very, very poorly. Very, very poorly. We're off again. Round 2. Matt Brown throwing up the shin a little bit to signify that he's ready to check the kick and also to kind of keep Lima at bay so that he's also feinting his own kicks. Lima comes in with a punching combination. Matt Brown looking to front kick and teep Lima, which is smart because he cannot capitulate that space. Matt Brown is looking for a right hand, doesn't get it. Lima goes looking for the calf kick again and continues to skirt the peripheries of the octagon. Matt Brown with a left rip to the body. Doesn't quite land on Lima, but now they're clinching. Matt Brown with another knee to the body in the clinch. Lima goes looking for a single leg. Now he's got Matt Brown up against the cage. He's got a deep underhook, and he's looking for this single leg. He's looking to run the pipe and went to switch for a double, which Matt Brown defended with a nice right-handed underhook. Matt Brown continuing to push Lima back on the peripheries of the cage, lands a stiff jab on Lima. Lima lands a calf kick. 2 calf kicks Lima landed. They haven't popped right on the back of the knee, and they haven't really, really hurt Matt Brown on the calf yet, but they're coming. Those shots are coming. Matt Brown landed a kick of his own. Lima goes looking for a double leg. Matt Brown defends that, puts up the shields. Matt Brown's up against the cage. Lima continuing to work, holding Matt Brown up against the cage. Matt Brown looking to frame with his right arm, and he does get off the cage. Now he pushes Lima up against the cage, frames with his elbow. Lima turns him around. This will be exhausting, this pace. The only thing I don't like here is kind of Lima's head position. It's a little bit down, and this Matt Brown's going to frame with his right hand. He's already put up a frame with his leg. He'll put up the frame with a right arm and get off the cage. He's walked off the cage, he has, and Lima has capitulated basically the whole length of the cage as he's walked backwards. Nice work by Matt Brown to keep feinting, keep Lima pushed up against the back of the cage. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in this round. Lima goes looking for a right hand. Matt Brown partially slips him. Matt Brown, beautiful pressure by Matt Brown. Lima once again pushes him up against the cage and continues to look for this single leg. Matt Brown's got the whizzer here. And he's got the bicep control with his right hand. He will be able to frame off. I don't understand why Lima capitulates that much space and gets off the cage to that point. I don't understand. Oh, Matt Brown with a huge shot. He sleeps Lima with a huge right hand. Absolutely slept Lima with a right hand out of nowhere. Slept him, crumpled him, completely crumpled him. Oh my God, what a right hand. Matt Brown, the immortal. Huge right hand by Matt Brown. Huge right hand. They both went right hand at the same time, and Matt Brown just caught him flush. Both of them went right hands at the same time. Lima's kind of, I think, just scraped the forehead of Matt Brown, and Matt Brown landed his flush on Lima, knocked him asleep. My God, what a shot. I love Dominic Cruz's suit, by the way. That's a nice suit. Wow. Warrior MMA. Danny Ainge says, new fan here. Hello from New York. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir, man. I appreciate it. And I want to say I'm a huge fan of your basketball, sir. Absolutely huge fan of your basketball career. Christian Lorenz says, I don't know what he called Rob. I don't know what Izzy called him. I don't know if there's going to be more or less banter. No idea. Uthman Ali says, that's the Christian Lorenz answer. Uthman Ali says, thanks for the commentary, Fab. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Roller says, Kamulga fucking Rob Beltran should apologize for that garbage. Mason Klatt says, hey, Fab, happy Saturday, Sunday. It is Sunday for me, sir. If you're in the US, I'm assuming it's Saturday for you. Thank you very much, and right back at you. Brad Galea says, thanks for the advice, coach. I've only started smoking meat this year and wondered if there's much difference between smoking beef, brisket, and venison. Enjoy your duck, sir. Um, yeah, I just know to keep them moist, man, especially with the beef brisket for sure. But I think the venison would be the same deal, you know, like you have to, because it can dry out and you're going to smoke it for a while. There's a chef on here as well. There's another dude that's a chef, and he'll be able to give better advice. Mark Whelan says, hi, Fab. Hope you're doing well. Love the channel. I'm hoping Rob has figured out how to combat easy striking with his own. Rob is an Aussie legend. Well, we'll see, man. I think he's got all the tools to beat Israel. I don't think there's that much in that fight either way. You know, one of those boys is going to get caught. I believe. You know what I mean? I do think one of them is just going to get caught. I think Rob's got all the tools to catch Israel, and that's all I can say. In my gut, honestly, I think Rob's going to win. That's just me. Mick 202 says, "What's up, coach? Hope you're having a good day, sir." Yeah, I am, sir. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Having said that, Israel's got obviously he's got all the tools as well to beat Rob. You know, and they've both got it. They've both got that. That's what makes that fight so intriguing. I think I called before they fought the first time. I was saying like, I think those guys are going to end up fighting 2-3 times in their career, simply because no matter who won the first fight, I just didn't see other guys in that division that were going to really be able to give those guys, keep those guys apart, so to speak. I don't see many people in the upper echelons there that can keep them apart. I think that's going to be a fight that we're going to see a couple of times, 2-3 times at least. Brad Galea says, thanks for the awesome, consistent uploads. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate it so much. You know, understand, like, you guys make it so easy to do because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I enjoy the support we get, and it makes such a massive difference to us. So thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. You know, like you guys make the show. So thank you. Dark Lord says, just remember the Sanchez Brown elbow KO. That's one of the most metal moments in MMA. That was a huge one. A huge one. I'm going to skip a couple, guys. Sorry. So Sank says, greetings from Toronto, Fab. Greetings, sir. Greetings. I just caught up to the part where everyone's talking about the right hand from Matt Brown. Like, that's how Lima always fights. And Matt Brown did the right thing because Matt Brown, towards us kind of like the second round, he was capitulating a little bit of space, and then he came forward and pressured and kicked and pressured and threw that right hand, and that's when he was able to hurt Lima. I think one of the things that I don't understand with Lima is why he just moves all the way back. I don't really get it. Uthman's Ali says, I think Rob is one of the only guys in the division that can match easy speed and solidify a takedown in the open without gassing out. Not only that, he's one of the few guys that can actually match the striking as well. But you know, it's a fight, dude. It's a fight. It's anything can happen in a fight. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. There's a lot of things happening at once, you know, in a fight. It's not as easy as, like, it's not MMA maths, you know. Sometimes you go this plus that, and this will happen, and it's not always the case. Matt Brown is a tank. Sasanki is definitely a tank. Interested in seeing these guys fight. These two Brazilians. I do not know a lot about them. But I'm always interested when these young, tough guys come out of Brazil because, like, you know, it's such a big country, you know, with such a big population, and such a big part of the population fights, does combat sports and does jiu-jitsu and all of that. It really, really always interests me when I see these guys coming through. So Sank says, Lima's striking is very confusing. He has strong leg kicks, but has no defensive movements. Yeah, there's a lot of things that like I don't understand exactly why he does them. I'm not here to criticize people. It's really easy to criticize people after the fact. But yeah, there's a few things that I don't understand exactly why he does. I don't understand why he capitulates so much of the space in the octagon. I don't. There's a few things. Roy C says both Limas often fall back to the fence and don't do anything for some reason. Ruth Manali says guys like Woodley and the Lima brothers always back up to the cage. Do you think that do you think they do that in training or only under stress in competition? No, I think that they found success in doing that in whichever way they have, and that's what they do. I think like there is a reason for it. I don't know that the squeeze is worth the juice necessarily for it, because when it goes bad, it goes pretty bad. Because Woodley backs up because then he wants to come out and counter you with the right hand and left hook that he throws, and he throws that with a lot of power. And he caught people earlier on. He caught a lot of people, until when he fought Rory Mcdonald. Rory Mcdonald really exploited the fact that he could keep him up against the cage and kind of time that Woodley's blitz. But Woodley bashed a lot of people doing that, So there is a reason for him doing that, but I don't think it's always going to be that beneficial to him, if people start to pick that out. And the Lima brothers, like I said, they kind of skirt the periphery because they cut that angle and throw that calf kick, and they throw that calf kick well, and so they have found success doing that. Now, again, is the squeeze worth the juice when you get it wrong, And also, are there better ways of doing that? In my opinion, there's probably a few better ways to do it. I think that in this fight in particular, Lima could have kept the pressure on Matt Brown against the cage simply by feinting, stepping off, feinting, and making kind of Matt Brown work a little bit more to get off the periphery of the octagon, rather than him just stepping back and walking all the way back to the cage by himself. Pip Dennison says, good morning, Hefe. Have a good call, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So Seung says, Gippsland is covered in spider webs, it seems. It's spider weather. Yeah, I hate when that happens, eh? I never used to see that when I used to live out west. When I say out west, southwest Sydney, not out west, like Lightning Ridge or something. But then here on the coast, probably 6 months ago or something, I don't know exactly when. Yeah, it was raining spiders. There were like little spider webs everywhere and tiny little spiders. My wife hates spiders. She's scared of spiders. Would not go outside. TJC says, what's up, everybody? Was supposed to be watching with my brothers. Happy to be here with you all. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching with us. We're having a great time, and I really appreciate your support, and I really appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Chuck Les says, Rory Mcdonald got screwed by the judges in the PFL yesterday. I watched most of that fight. It was controversial. But Gleason's like an awkward dude. He's a very, very awkward guy to fight. Big, strong guy, and it was awkward. But I thought Rory won, but that's me. Ruth Manali says, what's next for Matt Brown? Nick Diaz would be a good one. Ooh. Matt Brown versus Matt Brown versus Nick Diaz for Nick Diaz comeback fight. That would be interesting. Fab, did you see Mike Tyson talking to Logan Paul and telling him he's a bull for fighting a champion fighter and holding his own? I think he wants one of his fighters to fight Logan. No idea as to how, why, or whatever, but I imagine it'd be something like that. The Dark Lord says, how's Rob doing? I don't know, man. I don't really have contact with Rob and all of that anymore. Like, we stopped working together maybe a year and a half ago, like a long time ago. So I don't know. I'm assuming he's doing well. So Wellington Turman has 8 first-round finishes. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's finished 11 of 16 wins, 4 knockouts, and 7 submissions. This is going to be interesting. I mean, on paper, yeah, I've seen a little, very, very little bit, but I haven't seen a lot of these guys. I've seen a little bit of this Wellington Turman guy, but I haven't seen enough. Like, I haven't seen enough to be able to say this is blah, 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 blah. That's why I'm always interested to see these guys out of Brazil, you know, when they come through. Because it's like the Russians, you know, there's so many of them. There's so many of them, and it's such a, like, the population's big, and there's so many of them that practice martial arts from such an early age. So Turman is 24 years old, so he's a young buck. And Bruno's a little older at 31. He's 19-6. He's the favorite, is Bruno Silva. He's from Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil. At minus 125 favorite. Cyber One says Rory Mcdonald was robbed and MMA judging is trash. I thought Rory won as well. So let's see this fight between Wellington and Bruno. That's a cool name, Wellington. In Brazil, and a little bit in Uruguay where my family's from, but Brazil is really good. They always have cool names like that, like Wellington and that. Like I got like, actually in Uruguay where I'm from, like northern Uruguay shares a border with Brazil right there, and one of my cousins' names is Washington, and it's just a fucking funny name, you know, for a guy that's competed in a 2017 submission wrestling match which Bruno won. Okay, nice, that's interesting. So we're off. They touch gloves. Bruno is looking for a jab, then switches to southpaw. Wellington in the orthodox stance hits him with a front kick down the middle, then goes looking for a double leg, switches to a single leg, looking to run the pipe here. Ooh, it looked like Bruno might have held the cage a little bit. He's trying to ride him over is Wellington. Now he's putting in one hook and looks to trip Bruno. Nice little step off the cage does Wellington, picks Bruno up, slams him, takes the back, hasn't got both hooks in, and Bruno's able to shake him off and get the back himself. They're both standing up now. Bruno, I like the little scramble that he had there, man. He had a nice little scramble. I think Wellington's looking for a Kimura here, or at least enough to break the grip. Bruno has a good little body lock on him himself. He's not going to get this Kimura because Bruno has already switched his stance. And again, Bruno with a body lock, and again, Wellington with a Kimura. Wellington's pretty deep now on this Kimura. But Silva knows what he's doing. He's defending that correctly. And then he goes looking for a single leg himself. When you have a Kimura in that deep, you can't get that single leg. You can't. You will not get the single leg. You have to defend that Kimura. Because what happens is, if the guy's good, if you take him down, he can either continue to roll or he can start to set up a Kimura trap from there. Well, he started to set up the Kimura trap the moment he had it. Nice pickup from a single leg. Again, I think Bruno might have grabbed that cage. He picked him up, dropped him, and then he stood up. I think that Bruno grabbed the cage enough to take the momentum away from Wellington. This pace that they're fighting at, these two middleweights, is pretty fucking brutal. It's pretty brutal. Again, Wellington looking to sweep that leg and get that underhook. This kind of fighting takes a lot out of you. A lot out of you. Looking for the broomstick sweep is Wellington. Silva punching over the top of his head. Again, Wellington pushes him off the cage. Again, picks him up, puts him down on the ground, and Bruno once again to the cage. Bruno's going to try and find his back on the cage. Wellington once again with another pickup and slam. This will take its toll on your arms as well, picking up a dude and putting him down, picking up a dude and putting him down. But at the same time, Silva's carrying that weight. Now it's standing up. He's got both hooks in, does Wellington, and he's looking for a choke on Silva. He's got both hooks in, and they're standing up. And his back is not to the cage. So Silva's holding up all of Wellington's weight. But at the same time, Wellington's legs are gonna take a toll on Wellington's legs. Wellington put in a lot of effort picking him up and slamming him. And now that isometric contraction of you squeezing like this when you have the hooks in, it will take its toll on the legs, on Wellington himself. But it's not easy for Silva either to be holding Wellington up. David Jenkins says, Happy Father's Day, Fab. I don't even know that it's Father's Day. The Dark Lord says, Vicente Luque is the best name I've ever heard. It is a cool name. Now, Bruno's trying to shake Wellington off him. He's trying to shake him and get out the back door. And Wellington might go looking for an armbar, which he is, but it's out. Silva's smart, you know. Now, Silva has landed in Wellington's guard, and he's going to look to do some damage and ground and pound himself. What I like about these guys is that, oh, shit, Bruno landed some big shots there. Silva is landing some shots on Wellington. Wellington's not doing a good job of defending himself. He's putting up the shields, but Bruno's landing some shots there, man. He landed some shots. He's landing some shots there. Good ground and pound from Silva. With 40 seconds to go in this first round, looks for an armbar, does Wellington. What you can't do is allow someone to sit up in your guard and land shots like that. You have to get your feet on his hips and you have to kick him off. He's trying to invert now, is Wellington, but Bruno's very, very savvy. He knows exactly what's going on and he's continuing to land more ground and pound. 17 seconds, yeah, he put him out. He put him out completely, did Bruno. You cannot do that. Like the terrible dancing by Bruno, but I'm glad that he did it. Now, what happens, like no matter how good your jiu-jitsu is, once a person if you're holding a person down, then he can stay in your guard. You know, like he can stay in your guard. He can even have a closed guard. You can elbow his head, whatever. As soon as that person postures up, you have to kick him off and get up. You can't stay there and get hit. You have to put the shields in. You have to make space between you and him. You cannot let that guy posture. As soon as he gets posture, he's going to land shots and damage you. Mark Whelan says, I believe the Korean Zombie should win the main event tonight. He has great hands and does not know how to back up. He could definitely win. Uthman Ali says, crazy. Yes, sir, it was crazy. We've had 2 stoppages in as many fights today. So this looking good so far for this card. That Choi that's going to fight next, a Korean, he hits pretty hard, man. So I'm interested to see if these guys are if this is gonna go the distance or not, or how it's gonna go. Should be interesting, guys. I'm gonna fill up some water and I will be back. Uthman Ali says the finish reminded me of Stipe versus Overeem. Yes, yes. Hanoi Tripper says poor dude got pounded out hard. He did, man. It's a shame too because, like I said, like he looked good. Like he looks like he's got some. Like Wellington looks like he's got again. Like he's one of those dudes that he looks like he's the goods. He looks like he has all the things to win. But again, some tactical decisions, I think, and that's probably going to come with experience. Hopefully, um, a few tactical experiences there. Like he can't really do. It looked like he was doing jujitsu against a guy in an MMA fight, and that's not really the right thing to do. Isn't there Bruno Silva at 135? Says Gisley. I would imagine that there's a Bruno Silva in every single weight division in Brazil. I think it's a pretty common name. Yes, that's all. Like I think that Wellington has a lot of potential. I think that he fought like he was doing jiu-jitsu in a jiu-jitsu match. That's the thing I saw there. Wow, Alexander Volkov versus Gani. I forgot all about that. That is going to be a cracker, a real cracker. That's what next week. That's going to be a cracker, man. NZ Iwi Kiwi says Alpha Kenny 1. Okay. Nick 202 says Fab, are we going to see a Neon Fair One podcast sign in the background? You just might, sir. You just might. Julian Erosa getting ready at the back here for his fight. I like this kid, Choi. He's got sharp, fast hands. What's your opinion on the main event? Says Mark Whelan. Like I said this before. Like I'll say it again in the fight. Like I think that IGE has all the tools to beat just about anyone. He's superb off his back, really good off his back. Has good power, good boxing. His kicking game when he gets drawn into kicking game, it's not the best. But the biggest problem for IGE that I see is like, and I don't know if it's a problem or it's just what I see, but he wrestles when I think he's going to stand, and he stands when I think he's going to wrestle against certain opponents. And sometimes he still wins, but he wins like kind of like the hard way. That's how I see IGE, and I think IGE can win. He's got all the tools to win. I don't know if he will win because Zombie hits hard. Zombie comes forward. I think Zombie will even initiate a takedown, to be honest with you. IGE sometimes a little bit too comfortable off his back, although he's really, really good on his back, but that can lose you around. Zombie's well versed on the ground as well, so I don't know that IGE is going to necessarily tap him off his back necessarily, although he's very good off his back. So I don't know. Maybe Zombie. I don't know. I also don't know when the use by date on Zombie's chin is going to be from all the damage that he's taken, not just on the chin, on the rest of his body. Yeah, I don't know. So that's a hard one. This main event is a real hard one for me to pick. Maybe I don't know. Hanoi Tripper says Gane looks like the new MMA prototype of the 2020s. He's a monster, man. He's an absolute monster. Joseph, coach, your thoughts on Bam Bam versus Hardy fight? I think Bam Bam wins that fight. I really do. I think Bam Bam will. Hardy's good for 8 minutes. I don't know that he has the stand up to just come out and blitz Bam Bam in 8 minutes. I don't see that happening. I see Bam Bam under nearly all circumstances being able to survive those 8 minutes, and Bam Bam's a little bit more economical with his striking, and so I think Bam Bam wins that fight. Pip Dennison says US Father's Day. I see. Stephen Morgan says, how are we, Fab, and everyone else? Sir, I am good. I am really, really good, and I'm glad that you're here. And if you haven't already, guys, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Nick202 says, out of the current UFC coaches, who is one coach you'd have an MMA fight with? PS, no USADA testing. Well, I don't really want to fight any coach or anyone, to be fair. But if I was going to fight anyone, they'd have to test. They'd have to test. And I don't know if USADA would be the people I'd get to test, but they'd have to test. But no, I don't have any interest in fighting anyone. Mark Whelan says, thank you for your honest opinion. Cheers, bud. You're the man. PS, good call. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I don't know, man. The main event. I'm actually a fan of both guys, but I'm not sure. It's a bit of an enigma to me. That's the little bit. If I think honestly, if you put a gun to my head, if Zombie is okay, like it's not his day today that he'll fall off the cliff. Like I think Zombie will probably win, if I had to guess. Chris K says, champion bloke, this guy. May the heavens bless your household with a bounty of ramen noodles for all time. Always enjoy your commentary over the official one. Guys, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support. Whether it's financial or otherwise, man, I just love doing the podcast with you guys and having a chat and, doing what we're doing. So really, really thank you guys. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Erosa versus Choi. I'm looking forward to this fight, man. I'm looking forward to this fight. Both these guys come out to finish, And I think, was Erosa a skateboarder, if I'm not mistaken? I'm pretty sure he was a skateboarder, this guy. I'm pretty sure he was. Let me have a look as I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, he was a skateboarder and snowboarder. So that's interesting. That is interesting. And I look at someone like Choi, and it doesn't look like a fighter. Like if you just saw him like in his car sitting there minding his own business and you see people road rage, that's why you don't road rage, because this guys that look like this will beat the fuck out of you. So it always makes me laugh. Fab, do you reckon Huni versus Barry Hall would be a good fight? Hall has similar height and good boxing skills, but maybe without Gallen's toughness. Look, man, in fairness, I thought that Hall won that fight against Gallen, like both Eli and I did. It was very, very close. Don't get me wrong. It was very, very close. I'm happy with the draw, but I thought that Hall won that. But neither one of those guys, with all due respect to them, are on Huni's boxing level, Like, Paul got through on his toughness, but he just barely got through, man. Like, and that's with the glove coming undone a bunch of times. None of this is Paul's fault. Like, Paul fucking gave a massive account of himself, super tough. But even and with those small breaks, when the gloves came undone and that, someone of Paul's level is able to recover quite quickly. I don't know. There were a few times that if it was played out even remotely different, Paul would have been out of there quicker. There were a few times where Paul was a little bit stumbled. And I think it's very easy for a shot to, instead of landing kind of on the cheekbone, to just land on the chin. And there were plenty of those shots that could have come from Huni. So no, I don't think it was a good fight necessarily. I think it was a great performance by Huni and a tremendous show of heart from Paul Gallen. But as far as it being a great fight between the two, like I don't think it was. And so no, I think Huni beats both of them pretty badly. Yeah, that's what I think. I think Paul gave a massive account of himself, but brutal. So Choi is a Korean Muay Thai champion. And I've seen him, like he's got tidy hands, man. He's got good tidy hands, hits hard. Interesting. Nick 202 says, did you finally get into anime or not? I did not. Wada versus USADA, who wins, coach? Says Joseph. Man, I think both of those, again, Again, they're one of those, like, they have all the tactics. No, they have all the skills, all the tools, but sometimes their tactics are a little bit off. Hey Fab, you're gonna watch the Naoya Inoue fight as well? I doubt it, sir. I really doubt it. I doubt it. Okay. There's a big flying knee knockout, this fellow. Just sorry guys, I'm just my screen is frozen. Okay, I'm just trying to get this. All right. All right. Thankfully, we're off. Dude, these guys are so tall for featherweight. Both. So Julian's 6'1" at featherweight, and Choi is 6 foot at featherweight. Both with a 74.5-inch reach. Weights the same, 31 and 28, respectively, for Julian and Choi. So yeah, pretty interesting. Chuck Les says, I wonder how long Ollinick has left too. He's 43. Yeah, it's insane, dude. It's insane. You might win fights. This is the thing. You might win fights here and there, but you're still taking a lot of damage. You're taking damage at training as well. It's the thing people don't understand. Like, the fighters are taking damage not just in the fight. You're taking damage at training. Mark Whelan says, we also appreciate you and your impeccable ability to bring us into your home. And I love it when you jump up and get excited when someone knocks another person out. Yeah, thanks, mate. Thank you very much. I think there's something wrong with me. Julian is a plus 120 underdog. Chris K says, what kind of creatine do you think guys like Romero and Costa take? I don't know. I don't know that they take creatine. Nick 202 says, back in the day, I made 2 anime openings for Grange TV. I was wondering if you saw those, and if you did, what do you think of those? The ones I saw were fucking awesome. If yours are the same ones, can you tag me in them or something? But they were awesome, man. They were fucking unreal. If it's the same ones that I'm thinking of, they were really cool. Jim Pisser says, would you sport Choi's hairstyle? Nah, Choi's got much more swag than me, man. I wouldn't be able to do it. So Julian in the center of the octagon, holding the center of the octagon. Choi moving lightly on his feet, goes looking for it. Oh, they start trading straight away. Choi with the right hand and a left hook down the middle. Choi means business. He threw that leg kick early on. He means business. Right and a left from Choi. That right hand landed on Julian. Choi goes looking for a right kick up the top. That right hand has been like shown, he's throwing it. Again, lands on Julian. Julian has to be careful. Choi's landed that right hand 3 times in with various degrees of effect, but he's landing it. Julian answers with the right hand of his own. Huge left hands from Choi right at the start of this fight. Julian has to be careful. Again, just getting off the center line is Julian, but he got clipped with a jab as he threw the leg kick, did Julian. My God. Julian just out of the way of that right hand from Choi. Choi throws a question mark kick at Julian. Again with the right hand coming in. Doesn't land a flush. Julian's doing enough to get just out of the center line. Throws a body kick of his own, does Julian. Again, right, left goes Choi. Doesn't catch him flush this time. Julian goes looking for a little uppercut. Front kick down the middle by Julian. Choi, huge left hook by Choi, and he's landing the ground and pound, and Julian is out. My God, man, he throws them hard, man. I was saying this before the fight that this guy throws with power, man, and Julian is not well. He is not well. He's very, very shaky. My God, he landed that left hook. That 2-1 and 1-2 combination, like, so he throws a jab 1-2, or he throws a big right hand, just throws a 2, but then the 2 on the left hook. Those combinations go together. Boom! Hit him with the left hook, flush on the chin. Julian did well to stay, like, he was still all right, but then Choi landed some of those hammer fists, and Julian wasn't. like he wasn't okay, like with a left hook. That was a huge shot. Huge shot. Boom with a left hook. Big ground and pound, big hammer fists. And Choi, very, very proud of his haircut, and so he should be. He sports it well. Cheers, Fab. I appreciate the kind words. I think I posted those in the Discord back then, but I'm not sure. Man, if you could, that'd be awesome. If you could send us something like that or post something like that, that was fucking awesome. The ones that are the ones I remember. Mark Whelan, there you go again. Woo, it was the big kabosh, like the one commentator says. Michael Chavella is a legend, man. A legend. Roy C says Fab's reactions to big hits are so satisfying. Joseph, those hammer fists sent him to next week. Huge, man. Uthman Ali says he just missed the left hook a few times earlier. He did. He was throwing that right hand and that left hook, and they were just missing. And that's what I was saying. The right hand is just getting off the center line. Jim Pisser says clean cut and cleaner hands. Yes, sir, he does. Yes, he does. Choi hits like a truck. TJ says his super technical, had his right hand up to block perfectly when the left landed. Yes, he did. Hanoi Tripper says Zabit versus Choi be a good scrap. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Interesting, man. Mark Whelan says, Roy, see you were spot on, buds. I always laugh when he gets animated. Thank you, sir. Whoa. Choi is a real deal, and that, people, should be a lesson to everyone why you do not road rage. Because there'll be a little Korean dude that will punch the fuck out of you. You know? Pip Dennison says, I froth on hanging out with all these good vibe warriors. Great crew at the fair one. Thank you so much, Pip. I really appreciate your support, sir. Thank you very, very much. Choi is now on a 3-fight win streak. And yeah, man, let's see what's up. Let's see what's up for him. Uthman Ali says, what a card so far. What a card indeed. Man, what a left hook. And he caught him perfect too because it sent him back. Like, boom, the way that he was standing, like he had no balance with his legs to go backwards. You know what I mean? And caught him perfectly. Oh my God. My Lord. The Hungarian Hustler says, great fights. Great fights indeed, gentlemen. Great fights indeed. And any ladies that are watching, thank you very much. Great fight indeed, ladies. Chris K says, I'm never going to mess with a K-pop guy, boy band looking guy, just in case he can lay me out. Sometimes I'm in the city or go into the city, into Sydney City to eat. And at Darling Harbour, they've got all these there's like little spots where all these little like dudes like that do like they have like their little boy bands, not just boy bands, there's girls there as well, and they all break dance and do their own little dancing thing, just like little street groups. And they all look like him, man. And I like there's a lot of like, I don't know if they're Japanese or Korean or whatever, but there's a lot of the kids look like this, and you just think they could just fucking lay you out. Mark Whelan says, kudos to you, Pip Dennison. Nice work, guys. I like the good vibes, guys. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to get more water. Okay. Nick 202 says, how do I think Rob would have done against Anderson Silva? In Anderson Silva's prime, I don't think Rob would have done very well because Rob would have been like in primary school. But let's say that they were both in their prime at the same time. I think it'd be one of those fights. It'd be very, very interesting, very close fight because Rob, Rob has that. He's got a skill set that can beat just about anyone. He can go at it with anyone, and Anderson does too. So it'd be a close fight. Be a good fight. Similar, I see, like similar to kind of like the fight with Israel. I think those fights can go either way. They're guys that hit really, really hard. They're snipers, The Hungarian Hustler says, my favorite fight of the night, go Davey boy. So why is that? Why are you a Davey Grant fan? Just out of curiosity. Not that he shouldn't have a fan, but I'm just wondering why. Marlon Vera versus Davey Grant would be interesting, but I'm asking why in particular, Hungarian Hustler, you are a fan of Davey Grant. I mean, why not? I'm here with this little monster who's got a bit of a cold. Let's see. Okay, Nick 202, Mark Whelan. That is a good question. If that fight between Izzy and the Spiders is any indication, is that it would be hard for Rob. Anderson in his heyday was untouchable. Anderson was very, very good. Very, very, very good. And by the time he was in his prime, he had a really good understanding and really good timing of the cage. Like he could be taken down, and he understood how long he had to work on things, like from the bottom and whatnot. So he is very patient, and he understood the fight game very, very, very well. Sorry guys, I'm gonna miss a couple here. Big Bash Bosch says, cute kid, mate. She's got her moments, mate. She has her moments. She's an absolute psychopath. She's an absolute maniac. Mark Whelan says, prime Andy would have been a nightmare for Rob, but had Andy gotten the title shot after 234, I think Rob would have taken him to school, honestly. Yeah, like I said, man, like it's hard to compare people outside of their primes as well. Joseph says, how about if Rob and Bisping actually happen, coach? How will that play out? No disrespect to Bisping, but I think that's a really bad matchup for him. I think that Rob beats Bisping pretty soundly, pretty badly. That's not a good matchup for Bisping. I see that he's fighting a guy that's a faster, stronger version of himself, kind of thing. I think, yeah. And I know sparring partners that they've had in common, and that I think Rob beats Bisping pretty badly. That's just the way they match up. Do you get what I mean? I think, like you said, like I think Anderson would have been a tough matchup for Rob. Just he's very good on the ground. Is Anderson? He's very good on his feet, and he tires you out because he can survive on the ground quite easily. So that might have been a hard matchup for Rob, but I think Bisping is not. Yeah, I think Prime Weidman would have been a tough fight for Rob as well. Musasi would have been an interesting fight for Rob as well, but I think Bisping, just the way they match up, I don't think would have been a good fight for Bisping. Rob beats Bisping pretty bad. This is Nick 202 says it, but I think Romero versus Bisping would have been a close fight. Maybe. You see, if Bisping had gotten out of those first 3 rounds, then yeah, his cardio would start to pour on. But hard, man, because Romero, like which Romero too are we talking about? Because I think the Romero that beat Weidman, I think not many people beat him. Bish Bash Bosch says, even as an Englishman, I think Whitaker would smash Bisping. Yeah, like the matchups, the matchups matter. Like like I said to you, I think Thiago Santos would have been a tough matchup for Rob as well. Just a very explosive, heavy hitter, But at 185, not he didn't have the same thing, but an explosive, heavy hitter, kind of unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do. Good enough grappling to be able to get back up. That's a tough matchup. I think Rob's more technically sound than Thiago, but Thiago's difficult in that regard. Musasi, though, man, Musasi is very good. Very good stand up. Very good stand up. Very good jiu-jitsu off his back. Good wrestling, good grappling. Not people shit on his grappling, but it wasn't that bad. He's beat some really good guys. So yeah, Musasi would have been a tough matchup. I can't say he would lose to him, but I'm saying like that they're tougher matchups. No interest. TJC says no interest in Bisping versus Rob. I really think GSP versus Rob at a catchweight would have been a great fight. And Joe Pank says, what would your game plan versus GSP with Rob? The thing is, if you see that fight, GSP versus Bisping, a similar fight like that, but I think Rob would be a lot harder for GSP to take Rob down. And I think Rob can take GSP down, and he's a little bit faster than Bisping and hits a little bit harder as well. And that makes a big fucking difference in a fight with GSP. And Rob is significantly bigger than GSP as a natural middleweight. Mark Whelan says, poor little angel, it's hard as a parent when your child is 6. It makes you constantly worry about them. She's so cute, but I bet she can be a handful at times like all children. Mate, this little monster, you're a little monster, aren't you? Yeah, you don't know, mate. She wants me to die from lack of sleep. That's what she's looking for. Nick 202 says, man, I want Weidman to make a comeback so bad. Even today, I think he would pose problems for Israel. Look, if he's good, if Weidman's good, he's a handful for everyone. And him and Rockhold, but see, they're fucking Rockhold's 40, you know what I mean? Weidman's on the wrong side of 35, So I think he would do well, but Weidman needs to have, if he was to come back, and I don't want to see him come back because I'm a huge fan. He's probably one of my all-time favorite fighters, We got him on the podcast. I was so happy to have him on the podcast. But like, he needs to have a few fights to get into a rhythm, Chris K says Rob would have murdered GSP and Bisping. Yeah, that would. I think. Look, there's still going to be tough fights. Bisping's not a pussy, and neither is GSP. I just favor Rob in those fights. I don't think that those two guys are the worst matchups for Rob. Like I said to you before, I think Musasi was a tough matchup. I think even Thiago Santos was a tough matchup. I think Anderson Silva would have been a tough matchup. Anderson Silva in his prime. Chris K says, Fab, your child is a biracial angel, like Rob and myself. And me, I'm a biracial angel too. Yeah, you're Japanese and white. Yeah, she's like a whole mix, man, because my wife's Chinese Russian and my mum and dad are Uruguayan, but my dad's darker, my mum's like European Uruguayan, she's white. Do you think Weidman will ever fight and or win again? Bish, bosh, bash. I think Weidman might fight again. I don't know. And if he fights, he's always a chance of winning for sure. Nick 202 says, technically, it's your legendary wrestling that helped Rob to become the monster anti-wrestler today. It wasn't my wrestling. Wrestling has been around quite a bit before me, Nick. But no, well, in all fairness to that, Rob, when we were working together, Rob qualified for the Commonwealth Games in wrestling. So it's, his wrestling's decent, dude. It's very, very decent. Like he can compete like at that level. Like the Commonwealth Games is for those that from the US or somewhere. It's like the Pan American Games for us. So When we were together, he qualified for that. Granted, our wrestling level is not the level of the US or Europe, but still, nonetheless, like the guy can wrestle, you know. So it wasn't just anti-wrestling. Like the guy could wrestle, can wrestle, absolutely can wrestle. So it's. I don't think that Bisping and GSP were the kind of game plans that that would massively worry Rob. Mark Whelan says, I don't like how Chris broke his leg. It's worrisome and strange. He might have some issues with bones. Let's hope not. Dude, the way he broke his leg, he just kicked it fucking flush. That at that age, man, it's a massive fucking issue. You know, I'll just leave that one to the keeper. Nick 202 says, by the way, the Weidman episode is honestly one of the all-time great from Grange TVs. Yeah, it was, man. I really enjoyed doing that one. Joseph says, fight to make Rob El Jefe versus GSP Faraz tag team match. Yeah, I'll just let Rob fight that one by himself. Chris K says, your child is a future of the world, a super mix. I think that is the way we're heading, to be a super mix like that, except for, you know, some people that will obviously prefer us not to mix. But yeah, I think she's going to be a bit of a, you are a mix, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Children of America says, I hope your daughter feels better. Yeah, I hope she does too, mate, because sometimes she doesn't let us sleep properly. But she's a good little person, aren't you? Craze says, I heard Weidman is jogging and hitting pads already. He'll be back. Nick 202 says, he out-wrestled Gastelum, who in my opinion is one of the better wrestlers in middleweight. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, there's no doubt that he could wrestle. That's why I was saying to you, like, I don't see, we're off, people, we're off. I don't see, it was be very, very, very hard for Gastelum to beat him. I don't really see where he's going to beat him. So we're off, people. Cheeto comes straight to the middle of the octagon. He's holding the center of the octagon. Davey Grant is looking to sit behind his jab. Leg kick by Grant. Oh, nice side kick from the southpaw stance by Grant. Oh, front kick down the middle by Grant. Cheeto still holding the center of the octagon and moving forward, goes looking for a front kick. They both exchange front kicks. Tito with an oblique kick to the kind of hip area. Nice work. Davey Grant now from the orthodox stance, landing the jab. Sorry, guys, I have to get rid of this person. Baby. Okay. Goes looking for a high kick, does Davey Grant. Oh, he lands a nice little right hand over the top, does Davey Grant. Left rip to the body from Davey Grant. Cheeto with answers with a jab of his own, but Davey Grant with a front kick down the middle. Oh, spinning back kick by Davey Grant and spinning hook kick, really. This is the best I've seen Davey Grant, to be honest with you. And there switches stance. He's fighting from the southpaw stance. I've seen him fight a few times, but he looked kind of slower before. But this time, I don't know if Vera brings out the best in him, you know. Vera goes looking for some knees straight down the middle. Vera's got some good jiu-jitsu. Nice little jab again lands by Grant. One, two by Vera. Vera looking to spin. Nice kick to the body. Like a kind of jumping switch kick by Davey Grant. Very Taekwondo style of stand-up. I really like it. I really, really like it. I love it when I see the Taekwondo incorporated into MMA. Underutilized skill in a lot of times. Not every part of Taekwondo to be used, but they do have excellent dexterity and movement with their kicks. Nice. So they exchange a pair of hooks. Cheeto goes to kick low and Misses, falls. Oh, left hook landed by Davey Grant. He definitely landed that shot. That was a good left hook. Overhand right by Davey Grant. Again goes looking for the left hook. Switches to southpaw. Throws a body kick. Vera catches it. Vera takes him down. There's 1 minute and 55 seconds to go in this round, and Vera is looking to posture up and land some punishment. Grant is looking to invert and push Vera off. Vera's looking to pass. He's landed in half guard. Now Grant, he gets himself to his knees. Vera's got an arm in. He's going to go for an arm in guillotine, but Davey Grant gets himself to his feet. Great work by Davey Grant. Vera's pressuring up against the cage, but he doesn't have the underhook. He goes looking for a 1-2. Goes looking for the front kick down the middle. Big overhand right by Davey Grant, taken on the gloves of Vera. That left hook is dangerous from Davey Grant. It's creeping behind the gloves of Vera. Left body rip followed by an inside kick by Grant. We're looking at an orthodox to southpaw stance here, and now Davey Grant switches back to orthodox. I mean southpaw. Sorry. Oh, and an oblique kick. Man, he's going off. He's doing all these taekwondo kicks. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. The thing with that is that it just gives you so many different looks, man, and it's hard for you to get a read on him, you know? He's throwing all these different combinations at you. I really like that, man. I really like when I see that background. And he was a rugby player too. I'm a fan, Davey Grant. I am a fan. I am a Cheeto Vera fan, but I'm a Davey Grant fan. Right hand, left hook, right hook. He's backing off Davey Grant, and that is the round, people. Wow. Chris K, skill for skill. I think Weidman is one of the best ever. Even when he loses, it has never been a one-sided beatdown, but 25 plus surgeries are definitely affecting his toughness. If you have 25 surgeries, dude, I don't like. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather not see him fight. I don't care if he's going to win or lose or whatever. 25 surgeries is just not good for you. Vera getting pressured, no bueno. No, sir. Chuck Les says, I think rugby league helps Aussie takedowns and takedown defense. The rugby league as well, dude, it's just like it's a really rough and tumble sport, man. Like really, really, really rough tumble sport. Like the guys that make the top of rugby league, like guys like Paul Gallen, are just tough as fuck. There's no two ways about it. Nick 202 says, Vera legit changes hairstyles every fight. That he does, sir. Chris Whelan says, Chris 202, I agree with you. He's one well-rounded fighter. He can do all the things needed to mix it up with the best. And even when he loses, he makes them hurt. Fingers crossed he heals well. I just hope he heals well. Pauline Cameron asks, is Dave winning? I think he's probably winning, yes. I think he's landed the harder shots. Vera's pressuring now early in this second round. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. Oh, big right hand. Vera's taken a lot of Grant's shots on the gloves. You know, goes looking for a spinning back kick, does Davey Grant. Davey Grant looks like he's slowed down a tiny bit, which might be enough for Vera. And he countered with a nice short hook, did Vera. Davey Grant's still putting a lot on these punches. Vera hits with a calf kick. Now Vera goes looking to pressure him up against the cage, throws a knee. This has to be Vera's game to beat Grant, because I think in that open mat, Grant's going to land big shots, you know. Grant lands a little right hand on the break. They both, nice leg kick by Vera. Again, Grant switches to southpaw stance. So we've got southpaw versus orthodox. And he goes looking for the body again, does Grant. They exchange a pair of front kicks. Nothing doing. Vera goes looking for a left hand in the middle. Doesn't land. They exchange big shots. Grant came out landing one to the body. Vera threw a right hand that missed. Grant has hit some shots to the body and still that left hook. Whilst Vera's taking some of these shots on the gloves, they're still getting through. Like, Oh, nice elbows by Vera in the clinch. Nice elbows, Vera. Nice, very, very nice elbows in the clinch. He has cut Davey Grant up pretty solid, man. Nice leg kicks by Vera. Nice little combinations. Vera continuing to be very patient, throwing that kick down the middle. There's blood all over Davey Grant's face. Oh, my God. Right rip to the body by Davey Grant. Again, another front kick by Vera. Then he goes looking for a hook kick. The spinning hook kick does Davey Grant. Partially lands. Another elbow by Vera cuts. He's really... Oh, another nice elbow by Vera. Davey Grant goes looking for a takedown and gets it on Vera. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Vera's got very good jiu-jitsu, but the way that he's stacked here up against the cage, like that with his head up, it's hard for Vera to do anything with his hips. And this is what I'm talking about before. When the guy elevates like that and you have nothing between you and him, you need to be moving. You need to be trying to kick the guy off you, which is what Vera's doing, because you can't let someone posture up on you when you have nothing between them. Now he's thrown up. Looks like he could have some I thought maybe he might get an omoplata or a triangle. He may use this to sweep him. Now he looks like he may be resetting a triangle here. He's got a triangle. Davey Grant gets his head out. Very good work. And now Davey Grant has passed the guard of Vera. Vera may look to push off the fence here, but it's very, very savvy is Davey Grant. And now how slippery they both are. And ironically, it's the blood on Davey Grant's head that will help him to slip out of most any triangle or anything that Vera's going to throw out. And the only thing that I think really helps you when you're slippery like that are rear naked chokes and sometimes guillotines when you're slippery. Rear naked chokes when you're slippery helps. Vera is in a little bit of trouble here because, one, Grant's going to try and wipe out the clock. Vera's not trying to, he's not getting his guard back. He's stuck in the side control. I'm not saying he's not trying to, but I'm saying he isn't getting his guard back. Davey Grant's doing a fantastic job of maintaining side control. Maintaining side control in MMA, when you're both like this, it's fucking hard. The guillotine now is interesting. He's got an arming guillotine. He's looking to take mount. Vera goes looking for a heel hook, and Vera uses that to sweep. There's 40 seconds to go. Vera's standing over the top. What a fight, ladies and gentlemen. What a fight. Up kicks from Davey Grant as he rolls through. Now Vera takes his back with 32 seconds to go. He hasn't got the hooks in, but he does have the far wrist control, which is very, very important. He's landing big elbows on Davey Grant. I don't know if Davey Grant cuts super easy. I mean, elbows to the face will cut you, but I'm saying I don't know if he cuts easier than most. But he's definitely cut, very, very badly cut. It's not an open gushing wound that I can see, but he's definitely cut. And cuts can stop the fight. Vera's landing some decent ground and pound. Is it enough to win this round? I don't know. I don't think so. That was a tough round. Aaron Bruce says, Vera looks like the kind of guy who would kidnap your grandmother and treat her really nicely at the same time. Yeah, he does. Pip Dennison says, watching the surfing from Slater's wave pool, listening and watching the fair one. Surf here is blown to shit. No guilt for not getting wet. Perfect Sunday. Thank you for sharing, Pip, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much, man. Nick 202 says, man, Vera's tough as fuck. Vera's super tough. Super tough. John Pank says, if these were PFL judges, Vera would have lost that round. That was a close round, dude. It wasn't all Vera. I'd give it to Vera. I'd probably give that round to Vera, but it was a close round, dude. Roy says, good round. Yes, sir. Indeed. Pauline Cameron says, should Marlon Vera fight O'Malley next, unless Vera fights Asung Sao next if he wins? If he wins, man. Let's see it. Because I believe this is the third and deciding round. Vera coming forward on Grant. Grant in the southpaw stance. Vera with the front kick down the middle. They're very, very, very tight rounds, man. Very tight rounds. The first one was clearly to Grant. Oh, nice body kick by Vera. Grant goes looking for a double leg. Vera defends, and he's in a front headlock position here. I don't think he's going to go for the guillotine. I think he's going to try and take the back, which he does. Interesting, interesting. Now Vera is very dangerous here, man. He's got both hooks in. With both hooks, he's going to get this choke. He's going to get it. He's got it. He's got it. Grant looks like he'd slowed down, and now if Grant gets out of this, I'll be super impressed. He gets out. He's gone to full mount basically from this position. Vera's looking for a head arm choke. This is very, very difficult when people start to chain these submissions together. He's still got half guard, does Grant, but it wasn't enough. I was going to say, and how slippery these two are, big problem. Vera's got the full mount. He's going to land some damage. Grant's got the single leg now. Nice work from Grant to get up. I'm surprised he escaped that. Big shots taken by Grant, but Vera ate a little left hook on the way in. Both these guys tight. Right hand lands by Davey. Grant, my God. These guys, man, they're putting on a show. Right hand landed by Grant. Vera lands a 1-2. Vera's a little bit rocked, I think, a little bit hurt. Grant goes looking for a flying knee, or a jumping knee, rather. Vera goes looking for those elbows down the middle. Oh, left hand, swing and a miss by Davey Grant. Vera with a combination of elbows and knees up against the cage. Big rips to the body by Vera. Vera goes looking for a left hand. Grant's in all sorts of trouble. His face is bloodied up. His cuts are open up. And now he's been hit to the body. He has definitely slowed down. Vera with an outside trip gets Grant down, and now he's in half guard. He has the correct underhook, does Vera in the half guard. My God, what a fight. I wonder if Davey Grant's going to be able to survive this. He pulls a close guard here on Vera. There's 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Grant goes looking for a triangle, doesn't get it. Vera's not posturing up either, though. I mean, the guard is open from Grant. Nice elbow to the liver by Vera. Grant once again goes looking for a triangle. Then he goes looking for the up kick. I think he uses that to try and escape. He's going looking for the single leg. Knee slice guard pass by Vera. Vera's landing some absolutely brutal ground pound on Davey Grant. Grant is now starting to land some elbows from the bottom. Grant is absolutely exhausted. When you're tired, man. There's nothing you can do. You're done. You are fucked when you're tired. There's nothing. No matter how good you are, when your gas tank goes, it's gone. But he's still elevating Vera, still making some space. But Vera, nice little hammer fist from the bottom from Davey Grant. Both these guys are starting to look really, really tired, which doesn't surprise me how hard these guys have fought. Vera is looking to go he is in half guard, and Davey Grant looking for a Kimura here. For him to hit this Kimura, he's going to have to hip escape and get his left leg all the way up and over to the other hip, unless he just uses it to escape. But he's not going to escape this because Vera is going to take his back from this position. Nah, didn't happen. Vera is very, very well versed on the ground. Very, very good. He's passing. He's gone to full mount. He's taken the back, sunk the hooks in with 38 seconds to go. This choke is in deep. Is Davey Grant going to be able to get his shoulders to the mat? I don't think so. It's in tight. It's in super tight. Is he going to be able to get his shoulders to the mat? My God. Great show of heart from both guys. Both these guys must be exhausted. Vera only has to hold him here to win this fight, in my opinion. Fantastic job by Davey Grant to just survive. With 7 seconds to go, you now have Vera in full mount. Vera wins this fight. I believe that Vera won the second round, and I believe that Vera won the third. However, if any judges gave it to Davey Grant in the second round, then I don't know. But I don't think he won that fight. Exhausting fight. Both gentlemen put in a crazy amount of effort. man. Both these guys exhausted. Oh, could be a 10-8. Yeah, Bish Bash. The Hungarian Hustler said, did that fight just answer your question why I'm a Davey Grant fab? 75,000 bonus coming their way. I hope so, sir. I'll be back. Yeah, I got Vera 2-1 as well, TJC. Bish Bash Bosh says, not sure, Mark. Aldo's only lost to the best. Yeah, Aldo only loses to the very, very best guys. Great fight by these guys. Honestly, that was a crazy fight. Crazy, crazy fight. Good fight, man. See, that to me was a really good fight. Very, very good, man. Good grappler too, this Cheeto Vera. And then speaking of good grapplers, we have Alexey Oleinik versus Sergey Spivak. Spivak's a big boy, isn't he? Fuck. Just reading through some of my notes here. He's a big fellow, man. They all are, though. All those monsters are. So we have Spivak versus Ollinick, and then we have IGE versus Zombie. Yeah, I had Vera 2-1 rounds. Incredible fight. Very, very, very good. The last round could have been a 10-8 for sure, yeah. Wow. So Sank says Ollinick is a man's man. We had him on the podcast. He did an interview, and he was like, he is definitely a man's man. He's like, man must be strong. You're like, that's the interview with him about, you got to watch it. Hungarian Hustler says, you fortunately, I'm also out of here. Have a good day, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the card for me. Will do, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Vera just called out Dominic Cruz. Interesting fight, that one. Dominic Cruz and Vera. Chuck Les says, excellent fight. Sasank says he's a classy dude. Aaron Bruce says, legend has it that Ollinick once had a neck. Yeah, man, he's a fucking brutal man. He's like that. The podcast we did with him was fucking funny. Mcgregor and Poirier. That's going to be an interesting one, eh? That's going to be a very, very interesting one. I'm just rewatching the combinations. McGregor had some good looks in that, even in the second fight too. But then Dustin bashed him. It looks funny how different they both looked at featherweight. Okay. Legend. So Seung says Cruz will dominate Vera. I don't know, because people age, dude. You know what I mean? People age too. Joe Pank says, was McGregor a little gunshot the second fight? I thought he was landing solid shots, but didn't have enough follow through when he could have. I don't know. I think that just was not like that was a tough fight, man. Like I'd picked McGregor in that fight, but he just wasn't moving, and Poirier exploited that really well with those calf kicks. So let's see with the second fight. Aaron Bruce says, seriously, the man's related to a brick. Man, he's hard as fucking nails. And now he's sporting what I can only describe as an absolute killer haircut, that has the beginnings of what could one day be a magnificent mullet. Nice look. Yeah, it is going to be a crazy card, that one, the McGregor card. Chuck Les says, Ollinick is a beast if he was 10 years younger. Sergey Spivak looks like he looks like a worried schoolboy right now in the back, but he's a tough, big, strong man, dude. Spivak, really, really good fighter. Uthman Ali says, I don't think McGregor will fight Charles even if he wins. I think Nate is next. Maybe. I don't know. Because McGregor and Charles will be an interesting fight. McGregor and Charles will be a very interesting fight. McGregor hits very, very hard. You know what I mean? Very hard. That's not news to anyone. And Charles has been knocked out a bunch of times before. On the ground, Charles is a fucking monster, dude. On the ground, Charles is a monster. But McGregor's got very good takedown defense. And I don't know that McGregor's going to sit there and play jiu-jitsu with him. McGregor's going to try and pop straight back up to his feet. So that would be a really interesting fight. I like how McGregor loses and they just give him another fight with the same guy again until he wins. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, Poirier versus McGregor. Now the big boy's about to start, Oleinik versus Spivak. TJ says, I deal with truck drivers all day. When one is huge and Eastern European, I try to be as polite as possible. Where do you live, TJC? Man, this fight is going to be Spivak's so big, dude. I've seen this guy in real life, and he is so fucking huge. Oh, big shots by Ollinick. I'm just watching in the highlights. Uthman Ali says, we'll be on McGregor versus Poirier 5 by 2024. Chris K says, Ollinick throwing bungalows. Yeah, man. These guys are big boys, man. Big, strong boys. Nicknamed the Polar Bear is from the Republic of Moldova. Would have been nice, says Polar Bear is a very fitting nickname for Spivak. It is, man. It's perfect for him. TJ says Long Island, New York. Thanks for all you do, brother. No, thank you, man. Thank you for all your support and all your help and everything because you guys are the ones that make the show, man. So thank you guys so much. Mark Whelan says, Charles, if he can get Connor on the ground, it would be difficult for Connor to stop him. Too many moves and his transition is awesome. 1000%. It is true. He has to get Connor down though, and he has to get Connor down and hold him down. That's not that easy. And it isn't that easy to submit someone in MMA, when the guys know what they're doing. So that'll be an interesting fight. Chuck Les says, Ollinick has convinced me to get a haircut. To get a haircut or to get the haircut? Because the only haircut that matters, in my opinion, is the one that Ollinick is sporting right now. That's the only haircut that matters. Everything else is falls by the wayside. Ollinick's such a big guy. I always think if I won the lotto, I would hire one of these guys as my bodyguard full time. Say, man, don't fight for whatever the UFC is paying you. Just train full time and you can be my bodyguard. These guys would be such good bodyguards, man. I walk around with Oleinik and Spivak. Cool names too for bodyguards. They're fucking proper bodyguard names. Oleinik and Spivak. My two bodyguards, and be cool. Joe Peg says, can Charles take him down though? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the hard one is. And then Charles got his own stand-up as well, but stand-up wise, I just see McGregor, his power being a little bit too big. Chris K says, Oliveira seems like a vulnerable champion. Elite for sure, but has been finished many times before. That is true as well, sir. I don't know if vulnerable is a word, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Mark Whelan says, the only haircut in Australia is the mullet. Yes, sir. I guess I know what you're saying, Chris. I think not enough vulnerable is a word, but he doesn't have that air of invincibility that other champions have had. That doesn't mean he's not everything that he is, you know. Chris K says Mendes took McGregor down but messed up by going for submission instead of sticking with elbows. Would have been nice as if Conor does the impossible and gets the title. Do you think Khabib's mum will let him come out to play? The problem is, dude, that it's not that impossible for Conor to win to get a title shot because he's got such a massive following and he's got so much pull that I mean he will get the title shot if he wants it. If he wins, if he beat Dustin and he wanted the title shot, then he'll get the title shot. He won't have to do the 3 guys in a row thing and blah blah blah. Yuan says, all things considered, especially compared to others that have fought Khabib, Conor did fairly well in the grappling exchanges against him. I think he did, but I also think that if you watch the fight just in silence, just watching the fight, I don't think Conor did like as a whole. Like if people thought that Conor couldn't grapple, that's a different thing because I know Conor can grapple. But if you look at that fight, like people talk about McGregor won a round or whatever, I don't even think he won that round, to be honest with you. I don't think it was like a close fight or whatever. He did did he get killed in the first round? No, he didn't. And he had moments in there, but if you look at it without the commentary, without anything, like I didn't think he won any rounds, to be honest. Chris K says at Fab, yeah, Chucky Olives has improved a lot, but he doesn't have that aura that Khabib has. Uthman Ali says Conor can lose to Dustin and get a title shot. He can, honestly, he could. That's what I mean. These are big boys. 242 Spivak, 228 Alexey Olinov, longer reach from Olynyk. And the big difference here is 43 and 26, respectively, for Olynyk and Spivak. Joseph says, damn, the amount of women you can get with the Olynyk haircut. That's why I wouldn't get it, man. I wouldn't be able to help myself. You know, like I'd never really had that kind of attention from women. And with a haircut like that, it'd be just too much. 270 favorite is Spivak. And Spivak can wrestle too. TJC says it wasn't close. He didn't get smashed the whole time, but he got smashed most of the time. I agree with you, man. That's probably the best recap of that fight. Johan says he absolutely did not win a round against Khabib. Agree there. Uthman Ali says I think Khabib has improved more than Conor since their fight, possibly. Al lasted 5 rounds against Khabib, therefore Al is better than Gaethje and McGregor. Joseph says, like the barber fell asleep in the middle of the haircut. Chris K says, don't forget Conor was letting Khabib gas himself out. Yeah, yes, he was. All right, we're about to start. Spivak's such a big boy, man. You got to watch the podcast with Alexey. We're off. They touch gloves. Big leg kick by Ollinick. Then he goes looking for a jab. Drops his level a little bit. He's going to come in with that overhand right, next level change. There it is. There's the overhand right by Ollinick and the clinch. Framing by Spivak. He's doing a good job of framing his Spivak. Ollinick taking his time. Throws a jab again and another jab. He's going to jab, drop his level, throw that overhand right and try and clinch. Here's Ollinick. Oh, left hook landed by Spivak. Oh, man, Spivak. Leg kick by Ollinick. Big right hand, swing and a miss by Spivak. Spivak starting to throw back more of an output now. Goes down low with the jab, does Ollinick, and then he goes up high with the jab. There's the overhand right by Ollinick. They exchange a pair of jabs with Ollinick getting the better of it. There's the overhand right attempt by Ollinick. It's dangerous, that overhand right, especially against a taller fighter. Or at least he stands tall, does Spivak. Spivak frames, gets out of it and hits Ollinick with a little jab. Right and a left connected. Big left hook connects by Spivak on Ollinick. But Ollinick's got a granite chin, man. Oh, takes a jab flush to the face. He's taken some big shots of Spivak. Swings right hand and a left hand. Now he's looking for the takedown. But Spivak's doing a great job of framing every time that Ollinick comes in. Big leg kick by Ollinick. Right hand over the top by Ollinick. And they exchange a pair of leg kicks. Ollinick now has a head arm clinch. Nice single leg by Ollinick. Spivak's got a frame and he's defending that. Good job of defending by Spivak. Ollinick coming forward, standing just outside of Spivak's reach. Nice leg kick landed again by Ollinick. Then he throws that overhand right. Overhand right hits nothing but air. Nice combinations of punches. Spivak's getting out of the way of the shots. 2 minutes to go in this first round. The thing is, man, with guys this big, any shot, like if they land flush, really, really can hurt each other. Spivak did land a nice little punch earlier in the fight. 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. Spivak looking to create a little bit of distance. When you have that whizzer like, oh, Ollinick went looking for the trip. Spivak's got good balance, man. Ollinick goes looking for the body and goes looking for the overhand right. Double underhooks. He's got the body clinch here. He has got the body clinch. It's on super tight, and Ollinick is a very, very strong man. He has got this nice. He's trying to drag him to the ground at all costs. He might roll into a leg lock here. He's taken the back. He's sunk both hooks in. He has the wrist control. And the thing with someone like Ollinick, he can put this across your face and just crush your face. But Spivak's doing a good job of defending at this point. Now Ollinick has taken the mount. He has the head and he has a head in the head arm position, but Spivak's defending it with the other arm. He has full mount now. 24 seconds to go. Should rain down a little bit of punishment, even if Spivak escapes. It doesn't matter. He doesn't really have the time here, I don't think, to really submit him. You know, I think Spivak's going to survive this. He's looking for this scarf hold. Is he going to get it? But Spivak can survive these 10 seconds, even with the scarf hold there. I would have rather seen Ollinick land some damaging shots, you know, even if Spivak got out of it. I have to give that round to Ollinick. Okay, Mark Whelan says, let's talk now. Cop that big mouth, says Khabib, as he's punching him on the ground. The shock on Connor's face is something I'll never forget. That was an interesting sequence of events. Joseph says, every time these dudes take a big swing, I flinch. Me too. James Hanold says, 75 professional fights for Ollinick. He's a legend. Plus combat Sambo fights too. Hanoi Tripper says, come on, Ollinick. It would be a victory for all the over 30s. This guy's a victory for all the over 40s. Would have been nice. Kudos to Ollinick, man. What a beast at that age. What an absolute monster. For all the over 40s, man. Which I myself am a part of. Ollinick looks a little the worse for wear. Not Ollinick. Spivak looks a little bit the worse for wear. Yeah, man. Uthman Ali says Ollinick jabbing from the hip like Muhammad Ali. Man, he's moving a little bit better. Eh? He looks like he's got a bit more spring in his step. They touch gloves. Ollinick comes out high guard. They exchange a pair of low kicks. Oh, right hand landed by Ollinick. Jab 1-2. They exchange big shots. Do both men. I think Ollinick got the better of that exchange. Ollinick starting to get the better of the hands exchange. Big shots, heavy shots landing by both men. Spivak looks tired, man. He does look tired. Ollinick coming forward, lands a right hand on Spivak. Nice low kicks landing by Ollinick. Big combinations there in the pocket by both guys. Ollinick starting to get the better of the stand-up exchanges as well. Those overhands rights are coming a little bit laboriously for Ollinick. Little left hook there landed by Spivak. Ollinick once again with a clinch got Spivak up against the cage. Spivak looking to frame. He's trying to frame with Ollinick with a deep underhook. Ollinick pulls guard. He's in a lot of trouble, I think. I think he's tired. Ollinick pulls guard and he's holding onto that arm for dear life. Spivak has to just open up and land some ground and pound here. He's got the correct underhook. Ollinick looking for a lock on that arm, I believe. He has to frame, does Spivak, and land some shots here. Ollinick trying to work from half guard. He's got it. He's got the single leg there. But Spivak has gotten the underhook back. So that's very important. That right arm of Spivak's, that's very important. If you see that arm switch places with Ollinick, so if Ollinick's left arm goes under Spivak's right arm, then it starts to become a problem for Spivak. Now Spivak's starting to land a little bit of shots there from those positions. But he has a crossface here. But Ollinick now has the underhook. Now Ollinick has double underhooks, but he's got his butterflies in. He's going to try and elevate Spivak. He's looking for an inverted armbar. Or a reverse armbar, rather. Sorry. Now Ollinick with his feet on the hips of Spivak. There's 2 minutes to go in this round. Now, see this position here. As soon as Spivak can get one of his arms free, he should land some shots, man. He should start landing some shots here. There we go. That's it. Ollinick rolls and goes to his back. Incredibly tiring as well, carrying a big guy like Spivak like this on top of you, landing shots, just working on you. It'll be very, very, very tiring for Ollinick, who was already tired. But Spivak really needs to land some damage here. He needs to land some shots to really start to tire Ollinick out. He's got 1 minute and 30 seconds to do so. And he can really land some there. If he starts to land some of these elbows, some of this damage, he's got that underhook there. He just has to land little shots. Doesn't have to land huge shots. Just don't let Ollinick get that half guard back. And even those little shots don't let Ollinick breathe. They don't let him reset. They don't let him have the continuity of breathing that's going to let him, it's going to affect his cardio really, really negatively. So there's 1 minute to go. Spivak should try and land a few bigger shots here in this point of the fight. There we go. There are some shots that he's starting to land. He goes looking for a front headlock here at this stage. Anaconda choke. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. Now he's looking for a guillotine, a modified arming guillotine. I don't see him guillotining Ollinick. I'd be very, very surprised if he did. 34 seconds to go. I honestly think that was really bad tactics from Spivak. He should have just stayed on top and just landed some shots. Now, Ollinick's doing really good shoulder pressure, really good pressuring pass, gets a full mount. 17 seconds to go. And Ollinick, again, looking for a head arm choke. I would rather see him land some damage here. Looking for the scarf hold. He's not going to get it. There's 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, time. Mark Willen says, Ollinick has so much experience, you would think the longer the fight goes on, the more Ollinick should dominate. But this is the big boys, so you're one punch away from victory. The reason why I see that being a problem for Ollinick the longer the fight goes is because he's 43 years old. You know, he's got all the experience in the world, but he's old, you know, and that affects your cardio immensely. Joe Pank says he might have just missed the whole fight with that headlock attempt. I agree. I think it's Spivak's fight to lose, irrespective of how the judges have called it, because Ollinick is not in the best of places right now. I'd say he's very, very gassed. His arms would be extremely lactic. And Spivak just has to land jabs, land jabs, land jabs. And if he gets Ollinick down, he has to make Ollinick work. But I don't know how Spivak's gas tank is. He just has to land the little jabs and make Ollinick work. If Ollinick capitulates and goes to his back, then he has to land the big shots, does Spivak. Just land the jabs. Land them. Ollinick, they're both boys in the orthodox stance. He just has to land them. Land them, land them, land them. There we go. Another jab landed. Another 2 jabs landed. Well done by Spivak. Good. And Ollinick is trying to headbutt the jab of Spivak. Get out of the way, Spivak. Land the jab. Land the jab. Don't let him rest. Yep. Again, land it, land it, land it, land it. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And Ollinick is so tough, man. So tough. Man. Ollinick looking to land that low kick, but he's in really gassed. He's really gassed. Spivak's starting to land those jabs a little bit more at will. Ollinick's cut open. Knees down the middle by Spivak, I think, are going to come. But Spivak lets him off the cage, which I don't think was a good idea. Should have just kept peppering him with jabs. Now Ollinick pushes you up against the cage. He drops to his knees to look for a takedown. Spivak has got a deep underhook. But all of this will be tiring Ollinick out immensely. Ollinick's in a lot of trouble, man. Just taking a lot of shots to the head then by Spivak. Spivak is very, very tired himself. Ollinick's head is made of concrete, and he just keeps coming forward like something out of a horror film. Oh, nice elbow over the top by Ollinick. Again, I think it's going to be a replay of the earlier sequence. Yep. Now he has to. Oh, knee. You got to throw a knee, Spivak. Nice little knee. There we go. 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go. Ollinick landing shots still. Ollinick still landing shots. Another leg kick landed by Ollinick. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. He lands a shot on Spivak. Spivak's out on his feet as well. They're both exhausted, these guys. He needs to frame and rotate and get Ollinick back onto the cage. Ollinick really, really trying to get this takedown. He's almost capitulated the whole way down. Man, Spivak, he can land some shots. He can definitely land some shots, but he has to start landing the shots. He has to frame and land some shots. He's got the underhook. He's got the underhook that he wants. Now he's got to land the elbows. He's got to land the elbows. Ollinick is doing a good job of defending because he puts his hand on the bicep, stop the shots coming, as you can see. And then he kind of gets up and puts his head close to the chest to stop the shots coming. But there's a minute to go. Spivak has to start landing these shots. He just has to land and land and land. That's all he has to. He has to try and land. Little ones like that, yes. But with his size, he should just stand, like, hold frame with one hand and just land with the other one. I don't know who wins this fight, dude. I can't judge this fight at all. I have no idea who wins this fight. I have nothing to say. Pip Dennison's GSP still competing? Nah. Land some shots, please, Spivak. There's always talk about GSP thing, but no. He has to land some shots. There's 15 seconds to go. 6 seconds to go. I don't know who won that fight. I don't know who won that fight, but man, it was a brutal, 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 brutal thing. It was brutal. They just took too much. So Seung says, interesting when fighters pull their opponent into the guard the way Ollinick did earlier and when Paul Craig did it with Jamal Hill. The Paul Craig one made more sense because they were both dry and he wasn't tired. You get what I mean? Whereas with the Ollinick one, but look, it wasn't actually bad idea because Ollinick was getting not pieced up, but he's getting hurt on the feet. And Spivak wasn't in an urgency to finish either on the ground. So, yeah. Mark Whelan says some of these fighters are too tough for their own good. All these shots have to do damage to the brain, long-term effects like Ollinick scare me. Are there certain fighters you think have things you have to do to probe you're okay? To prove you're okay. Okay. I think a lot of the fighters are too tough for their own good. And a lot of these guys will continue to fight well past their use by date. Uthman Ali says this was National Geographic. Sasank says it was bad for Ollinick. Spivak started ground and pound. Yeah. When he started the ground and pound, it was bad. Sasank says, yeah, Craig had his arm though. Yeah, and he was dry still, and he wasn't tired, so he was going to attack from the bottom. That's a different story. And I think it was a mismatch on the ground, so to speak. TJC says, got to still have energy left if you're going to pull guard. Otherwise, you're asking for a beatdown. I agree with you, TJC. Chuck Les says, Ollinick is so damn tough. He is. They gave the win to Spivak, which, yeah, I agree with. Joe Pank says, I have Ollinick, the man meat, 2 rounds to 1. I thought Ollinick might have got 2 rounds. I agree with you. I do agree with you. I don't know how it was scored, but I can't say to you, oh my God, that was a robbery. Yeah, it was a crazy fight in more ways than one. I'll be back. Uh, let me see. Okay, Dhiego. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna miss a few. Joseph, who do you think wins? Who do I have, Bucks or Nets for Game 7? I hope Nets. I hope Nets, but I don't know. Roy C says, "Woo, that Spivak win completed a little parlay I had on tonight's card." Did you win big, Roy C? Did you win big? Um, I hope you did, sir. This is going to be an interesting one, man. TJC says Zombie never has a boring fight. I respect his service, but I wonder what he would have been if he had never stepped away. You know what? Normally, I would agree with you, TJC. Normally, I would, but the way that he fights and the way that he is, in particular, earlier on, but the way that he fights, where he takes the amount of damage that he takes, I actually think it probably gave him some longevity and allowed him to mature without taking too much damage. So in Zombie's case, it's one of the rare situations where I think it probably helped him to take that time off. That's just my opinion on the Zombie thing. I've often pondered that myself. I've often thought, yeah, like would he have been better, etc. Da 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 da. But I think it actually helped Zombie. Predictions for the main event, Fab. Like I said, I've said it earlier. I think Ige has all the skills. He's very well rounded. He's got good hands. He's got unbelievably good jiu-jitsu from his back. He's got really good jiu-jitsu from his back. But um, I think that tactically sometimes he makes some errors. And I think Zombie's the kind of guy that, provided that we don't see that today being his use by date, so to speak, I think Zombie will do it. I think Zombie's got a little bit too good of a chin. And I think Zombie will go looking for the takedown. And Zombie's good enough to, although Ige is very good off his back, I think Zombie can nullify that to a certain extent. And stand up wise, I think he's Zombie can handle that. Ige things. Having said that, Ige's got a lot of power in his hands himself, and he's got very, very tidy boxing. So yeah. James Hanold says, I was very impressed with Brian Ortega striking versus Zombie. I thought Zombie would be too slick, but good work. The thing that happened there as well was Ortega landed that elbow on Zombie, and you don't know what effects that necessarily has on people. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, Ortega looked good as well. And it's hard when you're fighting Ortega because you have to give him this. If he hurts you on the feet, you're in a lot of trouble because taking him down is very, very difficult night for you if you take Ortega down. His jiu-jitsu is very, very, very good. Stephen Morgan says, how do I think Volker and Ortega will go when it happens eventually? I kind of think that Volkanovski will beat Ortega because one, I know Volkanovski and I know just how physically strong he is. He's like special strong. He's not, there's people that you grab him and they're like, fucking, he's strong, And I've done a little bit of work with Volkanovski. And I will say this, I can't go into it too much, but his stand up is good, man. Like it's proper good. Like he understands, he has a very, very good understanding of the stand up game, He has a very good understanding of a vocabulary of strikes, of different things that he can do. Then jiu-jitsu on the ground, I still think he can threaten Ortega to take him down. I think Ortega's a better jiu-jitsu guy by a fair stretch on the ground if they were to roll. But from a point of view of in a fight when there's a cage involved, I think Volkanovski can give Ortega problems because the cage cuts a lot of things off you. You can't rock the boat in the same way. You can't. There's only one way you can sweep someone if you're parallel to the cage. You can't sweep them through the cage. So there's a lot of different things that can happen there. And I think there's those things that Volkanovski can do to nullify the ground game to a certain degree. But on the feet, I think Volkanovski's going to prove that he's a little bit too slick. Yeah, we had him on the podcast, Volkanovski, twice. But the last time I had him on the podcast, he spoke about that Ortega fight and he spoke about the Max Holloway fight. So have a listen to them. Yeah. We all know KZ's greatest weakness is Mexican spinning elbows. He should be okay tonight. True that. I feel like if KZ allows a pocket fight, that Ige's body work could make a difference over 5. He could. Ige's got proper good boxing, for sure. Would have been nice. Let's go zombie with the cranberries. Oh, you got to love that, eh? TJC says there's something about Volko's low center of gravity, strength, and feints that seem really tough to figure out. It is, man. It's like there's certain people that have a certain thing about their body type and or timing that make it difficult. And Volkanovski is definitely one of those people. He's very strong. He's very, very fit and strong. Like there's not a lot of people that have the cardio, the strength, and the power, and they can go 5 rounds like that. Very, very few, that have that physical ability to be able to do that. And Volkanovski is one of them. It's very, very rare to find. And because he has that, he can just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and throwing feints. And that makes you tired as well. When somebody just keeps coming and they can throw feints at you and show you to give you different looks and just keep coming, hard, man. Then hard to take down because he's short and he can wrestle and he's very, very strong. Yeah. So interesting guy. Who do you think can take Volko out besides Holloway? Because I can't really see anyone else doing too much. It all depends, man. It all depends because people match up differently. They all match up really, really differently. So I don't know. And excuse me, you only have to get caught. You know what I mean? You only have to get caught. So yeah, but we do have a kind of I do see him and Max being a fair bit ahead of everyone else at the moment. So Seung says, Fab, you got to get Brandon Moreno on the show again. You guys, you do understand that, like, it's hard for me to get people on. Hey, not everyone, people don't really come on the show. Marlon Wheeler says, do you think Volker could do boxing at a high level if he wanted to? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of his actual boxing to tell you if he could. Like, I mean, he's tough and he knows how to fight. So, yeah, granted, he could if he wanted to. But when you're asking at a high level, are you saying, like, could he fight for a belt? You know what I mean? Like, go out there and fight and beat the top 5 guys in the world in boxing? I don't know. Can he go out there and bash some dudes in boxing? For sure. Would have been nice. I like Ige, but rooting Zombie in this one. Don't want to see him give up his rank. Fair enough. So Sank says Volkan Holloway are the Izzy and Rob of the featherweight division. Yeah, to a certain extent, for sure. But you got to remember, man, there's people come out of nowhere. Like when Anderson was at his very peak, it was like, dude, there's no one left for him to fight. He's gone through people twice now. But then Chris Weidman came out of relatively nowhere and beat him. Yeah, I think he only fought like 10 times at that point. And he beat Anderson twice, So people come out of nowhere, man. People come out of nowhere, and there's people minus 150 favorite is Ige. People are training like right now, and you've never even heard of them. You don't even know who they are. You'll have a kid that's wrestling in Nebraska somewhere or in Chechnya or Dagestan or whatever, and he wants to come to MMA, and makes a change and blah, blah, blah. 2 or 3 years later, he's 8-0, and all of a sudden we got a whole different prospect in whatever division. So Sank says middleweight and welterweight absolutely do need some fresh fighters. I think welterweight is not that much of a problem because you're always going to get dudes at welterweight. That's just like featherweight through to welterweight. That's kind of where most people walk around at. But 85 like up, that's bigger guys you start and talk about, and so it's a little bit harder to get that depth in there all the time. TJC says, I'm from a town 5 miles from Weidman's hometown. This area goes nuts whenever he fights at every bar. I believe that, dude. I believe it. So Sank says Chimaev was supposedly the guy to do it. Yeah, man, but there's other Chimaevs out there, you know what I mean? So we're about to start, people. They're off. They touch gloves. Korean Zombie and Ige both in the orthodox stance. Zombie goes looking for some jabs right off the bat. Leg kick by Zombie. Zombie looks a fair bit bigger than Dan like this, but you can't tell. Like I said to you before, like it's not just the weight people talk about. Like it's also some dudes are just like heavy set. They got heavy bones and whatnot. Because when you look at them like this, Zombie looks bigger. But that doesn't mean that he is. And again, like when people talk about weight and they talk about, oh, so and so walks around at this weight, it's not just what weight they walk around at, it's how lean do they walk around at that weight. That's why in other times when I've said to you, like Israel's a big guy, and people go, nah, he only walks around at 91 kilos. And dude, he walks around at 91 kilos, fucking lean. You know what I mean? Lean. You see other guys walk around at 96, 97, but they're pudgy. You see guys walk even heavier, but they're pudgy. So Zombie stalking Ige a little bit. Oh, Ige with a nice body rip. And then he goes looking for a left hook, then a jab from Ige. Standing nice and low is Ige. Zombie looks very relaxed in there. Pouring with a jab. Ige goes looking for a leg kick of his own. Nice leg kick landed again by Zombie. Ige goes looking for a left hook. Zombie takes it on the forehead. And there it is. I did think Zombie was going to be the first one looking for the takedown, and it looked like he did. Ige doubles up on a jab, looking very nice when he does so. I wonder how much of a toll those leg kicks are going to take throughout as the fight continues. Oh, nice little uppercut landed by Ige. Nice little uppercut. Right hand landed by Zombie. Not flush, but enough. And then Zombie goes looking for the double leg, and he gets it. He gets it. See, this is the part where for Ige, I felt that there was a moment there where he could have stayed up on his hand and looked to stay standing. But because his jiu-jitsu is very good, he backs himself on the ground, and sometimes that allows him to get held down a little bit. So I did think that that Zombie was going to be the first one to hit the takedown. Ige is looking for an armbar, and he pushes off and went to stand up, but Zombie's back on him again. This is smart work from Zombie. Ige might go looking for a leg lock here if he can invert. But Zombie, he's doing a good job. He's got the correct he's trying to get the shoulder pressure, and he's got the right underhook, and he's holding Dan down like this. Dan's looking to frame to try and get up. He's trying to frame on the hips there and push the hips away. But from here, Zombie can stay here all day. So he's looking already to try and pass Zombie. But I think that there's a big part of Zombie that knows that he can hold Ige down from there, and he'll be winning the fight. But Ige reverses it. Zombie gets straight back to his feet, and there's a nice little flurry. Both guys exchange high fives. Right hand by Zombie, and Zombie continues to push Ige back a little bit. Nice. I like Zombie's feints, man. See, and that's the difference with the Ortega fight. Like, he couldn't really go out and try and take him down like that in the same way that he can threaten Ige on the ground. Ige survived. He was fine on the ground. He even had a couple of submission attempts, but Zombie was never in any danger. Not like you would be with someone like a Brian Ortega. And that's not to say that Ige's jiu-jitsu isn't great. It really is great, but Ortega's a different level on the ground. Oh, nice little flurry by Ige. But Zombie does a great job of just sliding out of the way. Oh, I love that combination. So basically, you're switching into a southpaw stance from orthodox and throwing that left body kick. I really love that combination. It's such a brutal combination. Zombie's doing a very good job. Ige hasn't really been able to get into a rhythm, and a lot of that's because of Zombie, and a lot of that's because of the threat of the takedown. So he's throwing those combinations, switching up that stance, stepping into southpaw, throwing that body kick, and then on top of it, throwing in that combination on the ground. So impressive. He, Mark Whelan says different strokes for different folks. Like they say, some people can match up good against unlikely opponents. Fighting is such a mental game as it is a physical game, and it is just like there's also just the fact of there's so many things happening in a fight. There's Mark Whelan's comment. There's so many things that's happening in a fight, and sometimes it's just like that moment you got caught. You know what I mean? Um, Joe Pank says a lot of shit happened this round. Taylor says, stream the fight, boy. I can't, sir. I can't. And I do think it was a 10-9 round. Right there and then, I think that Ige could have stayed up on his hand a little longer before he went down to his elbow and tried to get, like, stop the takedown a little bit more. They touch gloves. Ige slowly trying to come forward. Oh, Zombie drops him with a right hand. Another little combination, little uppercut might have partially landed then by Zombie. I don't know if Zombie hurt his left hand or if he's just dusting his hands off. Little check hook landed by Zombie. Nice leg kick landed by Zombie. Ige inching forward. Oh, got sharp, fast combinations does Ige. But he does have a little distance to cover to get in that punching range. He doubled up on that jab and he landed that jab. Did Ige then? Oh, nice right hand by Ige. Nice leg kick again landed by Zombie. Ige is looking for a right kick of his own. Ige's got that power in those hands, but if he keeps catching two, oh, nice check hook by Zombie after Ige threw that jab. You have to wonder how many more of those leg kicks though Ige can take because Zombie has landed some nice leg kicks. Inside leg kick by Ige this time. Ige was in southpaw stance momentarily and he switches back to orthodox. Jab by Zombie. Nice combinations there by both guys throwing in the pocket. But in the pocket, although Zombies had some success, I have to favor Ige. Jab by Zombie. Zombie pouring with a jab, but I can't help but think that he's going to set up that. He's using that only to set up the low kick. I do believe the low kicks. Oh, left hook landed by Ige. And Ige goes looking for the left hook again, but Zombie slides out of the way. Zombie goes looking for a right hand over the top. Little jab by Zombie. Slides out of the way, does Zombie. Ige goes looking for a double leg of his own. Zombie defends it. I don't think Ige is going to get it. Ige reshoots again. Nice work to reshoot by Ige. Oh, he's got him in like a modified cop lock. Kimura did Zombie, but Ige managed to get out of it. Nice work by Ige. And nice work by Zombie to defend that. Oh, huge leg kick landed by Zombie. And a little check hook as well. Oh, He keeps going with the jab, does Ige. Right hand landed by Zombie. Oh, got hit with a little left hook, did Zombie then. Ige once again goes to the body and goes looking for a takedown. Nice work by Zombie. Ige goes looking for a Kimura, and now that fell through, and Zombie has taken his back. There's 34 seconds to go. Ige is holding on to Zombie's wrist, which is saving him from getting hit. It was good work by Ige to do that. But now Zombie has his back with a body triangle in. I don't think he's going to tap Ige from here, but it definitely doesn't look good for the judges. And you'd have to give, if he stays like this for the remainder of the round, you'd probably give this to Zombie. Because it was pretty close up until this point. They both busted each other in the head a few times. And that's the round. Zombie's cut above his left eye, I believe. Blood everywhere. It's just above his left eye, and it's like on his eyelid. It's not a good place to be cut. A close fight, man. Right hand to the body by Ige. Oh, it was a head clash that cut Zombie. It was a big head clash. Boom, and then bang, head clash. Mark Whelan says, thanks, Fab, for your great commentary. You always deliver, my friend. The fair one is my go-to for all MMA fights, and to be honest, I like your boxing commentary with Eli. I'll see you on the next live chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I really do. James Hanold says, I hope Barboza makes a good run at featherweight. A lot of good wars to be had. Yes, sir. I agree. Joe Pank says, really surprised the Zombies' performance, but he's letting too many shots land. 2018. You score it for who? Both boys coming forward. Land some shots there by Ige. Right hand landed by Zombie, and then a little right uppercut is landed by Zombie. Earlier in this round, just as it started, Zombie has already landed a calf kick. Now he lands a single leg to a double leg. Ige tries to elevate, but he does not manage to do so. At 4:36 of the third round at the start, Zombie has taken Ige down. And whilst Ige has good jiu-jitsu and he's very threatening from the bottom, Zombie is very savvy to it. Here, Ige has to be careful because Zombie has already sat back and postured, and he can start to land the ground and pound. Like I said earlier, when somebody like postures up, you have to kick them off you. You have to get them away from you. You can't stay in that position in a closed guard with someone standing over the top of you. They're just going to land shot after shot, or even sitting up over the top of you. Saw that in the Bruno Silva fight earlier. So he's holding his posture down, is Ige. So he's doing a good job, and he's trying to land those elbows from that position from the closed guard. Zombie's looking to posture as soon as he can and land the shots, which he just did then. And Ige's landing some shots from the bottom. Nice little elbow landed by Zombie. Ige is doing a good job trying to get his feet on the hips and up kick. Good work. Rolls over. Zombie looking for a crucifix, looking to control that leg, that arm rather, of Ige. And Ige looking to change that into a single rather than give up his arm into a crucifix. But now Zombie's gone and taken the back. One hook in. He's looking to land the other hook. He's got both hooks in with plenty of time to work. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. That forearm looks to be slightly under the chin. and he's got a body triangle on. As long as Ige can keep controlling that arm, it's going to be harder to complete a choke with one arm, not impossible. So 2 minutes and 40 seconds with a body triangle here. The body triangle makes it really hard for Ige to breathe, but it also, over a prolonged period of time, it'll make it hard for Zombie to for his legs too. Tires out the legs quite a bit, that isometric contraction. But he's been threatening with that rear naked choke, doing a good job. Ige trying to push that leg away. He has to try and get to the other side. It's an easier way to free himself if he goes to the other side and frees that leg. So now it's on the easiest side. It relieves some of that pressure for Ige if he's on this side of the body triangle. Having been a recipient of the body triangle many times in my life, I can tell you it is not fucking pleasant. I agree with everyone on there saying Zombie's winning, because I do think that Zombie's winning the rounds. But I'm not judging the fights. Yeah. I'd like to see Zombie land. Yeah, just keep landing some shots from here, just making it harder for Ige. I think it'll be very good. And from this position, how you can land the shots to make it, think you can land like you're knocking on a door. So you're landing with a knuckle and not with a glove. Rather than punch, you can just land like you're knocking, knock, 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 knock on the door. Something that I recommend for people. So you see the gloves don't cover that part, and you can land without the padding. You can land with your knuckles right in the head, and you can land that anywhere on the head. And it starts to mouse up a little bit. It's not pleasant. You have to move. It's not going to stop the fight, but the person will move. Ige working hard to try and get the body triangle off. He has gotten the body triangle off, but now Zombie he's gone back to the body triangle. It's a modified triangle here. Body triangle. This won't let Ige move too much, but Zombie won't be moving too much either with the body triangle. So they're kind of stuck here for the remainder of the round. That's 5 minutes in this position. I don't know how much this will have taken out of Zombie's legs. Ige's done a fantastic job of fighting the hands, so the Zombie can't get the choke in. 13, 10 seconds to go. He's not going to get the choke on Ige, I don't think, even though he's trying to put it on pretty tight, but it's Ige's doing a good job of defending. He's got his chin down, shoulders up, and defending the hands. Good job by Ige to defend, but he was definitely defending, and that's definitely Zombie's round. And this is going to make Ige have to come out, because he'd have to know that out of those 3 rounds, he could have I believe, only really won one. Like, he could, if he did. I'll kind of have Zombie winning all the rounds thus far, but what I'm saying is Ige can't think that he won more than one of those rounds. Like, they all were too tight for him to be like, yeah, I've won any of those rounds. So why I'm saying that is now he has to come forward a little bit more aggressive, and that's probably going to open him up to more takedowns from Zombie and or counter strikes. He will be looking to, but even now, like, I think some of that power will have gone from the punches as well, as the fight progresses. We're about to get started on the 4th round. And we're off, people. We are off. Jab by Zombie. Ige looking to come forward, throws a right hand over the top. Zombie started lunge forward a little bit with that jab, bit like a fencer, and looking for that check hook, which is the right punch to throw. When Ige throws that right hand to the body, Zombie throws that check hook over the top with the left hand, which is the right punch to throw as a counter to that right hand to the body. Zombie doing a fantastic job here. It's funny because everyone shits on the judges, but I'm watching here like the Twitter, people putting up the Twitter of who they think win the fights, or even here when we're talking and people see it different, you know what I mean? So some people have it 29-28 zombie, some people have 30-27 zombie, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's interesting. And sometimes the judges do fuck up badly. Nice right and a left rip to the body by Ige. They both exchange a pair of jabs. Ige coming off the better out of the two in that situation. Check hook by Zombie. Another little jab by Zombie. Right hand and a left, two lefts by Ige, only the right hand landing. Zombie keeps acting like he's looking to the side as well. Ige went looking for a left high kick, nothing doing. He pushes Zombie up against the cage. He seems to have double underhooks, but Zombie is in a modified tie clinch. So I think he's going to frame and get off the cage. I don't think Ige is going to be able to hold him there. Ige throws a combination, left rip to the body, left hook to the head, and Zombie jabs his way off the back of the cage. Nice leg kick by Ige. Jab by Zombie. .228 to go in this round. Both exchanging jabs. Right hand landed by Ige. Nice power by Ige. Still late in the fight. Front kick down the middle by Ige. So far, I think this is his best round. Ige's best round. Left and a right, swing and a miss by Zombie. Nice pair of jabs landed by Zombie. Ige dancing around the outskirts of the octagon. Nice jab by Zombie. Nice low kick by Ige. Nice pair of jabs exchanged by both men. Ooh, left hook by Ige. I think it's his best round thus far. Oh, he drops his level, throws a left high kick, does Ige. Then he goes looking for a right hand, catches his leg, he catches his kick, does Zombie, and then takes him down. He's got a minute to work, though. Ige's working furiously from the bottom, throwing elbows, trying to cut Zombie. 54 seconds to go. Zombie's now, he's postured up. This is where it's very dangerous for Ige. Ige is going to look to throw an up kick, looking for a heel hook, but his knee way out of already is Zombie. 35 seconds to go. Trying to put a little bit of pressure on the knee is Ige and turn this into a sweep, but Zombie's savvy to it. He's got to be careful not to get hit with an up kick here, Zombie, as he's trying to pressure Ige. It's 20 seconds to go. Let's see if he's able to land a little bit of ground and pound on Ige. 15 seconds to go. He passes Ige's guard. He lands an elbow to the body of Ige. I'd like to see him land some more ground and pound, even though I don't think it'll do enough to solidify the round for him, but it will tire Ige out a little bit. This is the second time, I believe, in the fight that Zombie has passed Ige's guard. So that will affect Ige's confidence for sure. Or maybe the third time. Maybe the third time he's passed his guard. Would have been nice as 4-0 Zombie with all due respect to those experts on Twitter. Ige says would have been nice. TJC says Ige needs to slug in the fifth. If this fight stays how it's been, Zombie is just better. 100%. I agree. It's just interesting to see. I think people see. I don't know if I give that fourth round to Zombie. Again, I'm not judging the fight, but I'm just saying I don't know if I give that fourth round to Zombie. So people do see them differently, do see the rounds differently. Overall, I think Zombie's winning the fight, but yeah, I think Ige's going to come in. He's going to try and slug, and Zombie's going to get the takedown. That's what I think will happen in this round. From the southpaw stance is Ige. Throws a body kick, nice powerful body kick from southpaw stance. That's where the liver is for Zombie, and that's where you can cause a lot of pain. Ooh, nice exchange there. Zombie looking to check hook as Ige comes in. Right and a left by Ige. Would have been nice as coach. Do you think we'll ever see legit ex-fighters judging these fights? I don't know that ex-fighters would be the best people to judge the fights. I think, like I said to you, I think you could do better judging. You could have better judging. But at the same time, I think it's a very tough job. Nice exchanges there. Yeah, it's a very, very tough job. And you can see people just everyone has different opinions. Right to the body, left hook by Ige. Man, he was having some good returns on that. Ige can feel it. The rip to the body and the left hook. He's getting some success with that rip. Yep. Oh, and then he got hit with a nice counter right hand. Did Ige? He got hit by Zombie. Ige shot for a double leg, and Zombie sprawls on it. Rip to the right, rip to the body, left hook from Ige is money. Is a good combination for him. Chris K says age and mileage catching up at last for Zombie. I do believe that. I do. Yeah, I don't know. I think that as you're going to see better judging, but I don't know like what the actual answer is. I think they cop a lot of shit, man. Because there are some real bad decisions from some judges. But overall, man, it's a fucking tough job. It's not that easy. Nice sit out from Ige. There's 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Whizzer from Zombie gets him out of trouble. Zombie pummels in. They're both at a 50-50 with over-unders. You can put on a lot of pressure from that position when somebody has an underhook on you. If you get the whizzer and you can push off on the hips and drop your shoulder into it. Right hand landed by Zombie. Nice work. Oh, nice little right hand landed on the chin by Ige. 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go. Zombie takes the back. Zombie took the back. It's got the body triangle in. There's 2 minutes to go, and I do believe this fight is going to end here because Ige looks pretty tired as well. They both look pretty tired. They've both taken a fair bit of damage in this fight. Ige goes to the correct side to relieve the pressure from the body triangle. But he continues to play this game with the feet, does Zombie, and continue to hold Ige in the body triangle or variations of the body triangle. He's very, very clever with the way he keeps moving that body triangle to keep Ige in the triangle the whole time. He's got good wrist control here. And I believe, like I said, I think it's just going to stay here for the rest of the fight. Continues to keep threatening the neck, does Zombie. I'd like to see him hit with the knuckles, like that knock on the door, bang, 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 and land those shots because that'll mouse up his face. 53 seconds to go. Good work by Zombie. He's done a really, really fantastic job of doing what he needed to win. And I think he's going to come away with this win, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I think that he'll win the round. Nice work by Zombie. 25 seconds to go. Ige trying to punch him from that position. Not really getting a lot on it, but I'd like to see, like I said, I would have liked to see Zombie knock on that door. 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Man, that was a very interesting fight, man. These guys, yeah, they really put it out there. I don't know what the official decision is. Would have been nice to have it 50-45 to Zombie. I don't know that I don't give IGE at least a round in there somewhere. I definitely have Zombie winning the fight. I definitely have Zombie winning the fight though. Yeah, I don't see how IGE could win that fight from like how they could give it to IGE, but yeah. Jay Farrell says, I love MMA, close fight despite what the scorecards are likely to say. Agree. Um, Joe Pang says, you think Zombie left himself open too much trying to get IGE to engage, Fab? Hard to say, man. It's a fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's a fight. And Zombie kind of fights like that. And having said that, I don't think he took that much damage compared to other Zombie fights. He got hit with a few bombs, but IGE's got fast, strong hands, so he's going to get hit. Zombie playing it safe now with the extra grappling wouldn't be a bad idea if the damage is taken. Not just that, I think the way they matched up allowed you to see Zombies grappling like that. Elliot says fourth for IGE. Maybe, possibly, yeah. I think there was one in there that I could have given to IGE. And then there was one earlier that people had given to IGE, you know. So, but I have it. Zombie won the fight. Ortega was so good. This fight made me notice just how good Zombie is. Agreed. IGE super tough. Going to be a hard fight for anyone, says Chris K. Jay Farrell says, I hope the head clash doesn't cause too much scar tissue to be exposed in future fights. Agreed. TJ says, happy Father's Day to all the dads. Till the next time, much respect. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. What a great win. Join us for the next fight, people. Please do so. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Please tell your friends about it. Please support us in any shape, way, or form that you can. You can support us on PayPal if you so choose. But any support, whether it's financial or otherwise, is always much appreciated. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much and take care.